I solemnly swear that I am up to no good.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 66 of Tales from Godric's Hollow, the #1 Niffler podcast on the internet. I am one of your hosts. I am the muggle of the show. I am Josh Brown. I am joined by the purest Slytherin professor I know, the man who was put on this earth to cause me nothing but grief, the Snape to my Harry Potter, Professor Matt Sonnenberg. Hi, Matt.
Hi, Josh.
How are you?
I was ready to be slightly offended.
Yeah.
Until you called me the Snape to your Harry Potter. And
yeah.
I might be okay with that.
Well, not in my book.
I know.
You have to look at it from my perspective, and that's a deep cut right there.
I'm going to do, as I told you, what all good Wisconsinites do, and just flip that on its head and take it as a compliment.
You would too. You Midwesterner through and through. Not happy going into this episode.
Yeah.
Just to be completely upfront. Your maniacal plan a few weeks ago of doing one chapter has finally reared its ugly head to be revealed as to why you would do such a thing. It wasn't to get us back into even numbers like you tried to convince me of. It had nothing to do with that at all. It was 100% designed to create... First of all, here's the really great part about this whole thing. Like, the really devious, evil genius type of thinking that went involved with this. Last week were 2 great chapters.
Uh-huh.
Just bam, bam, 2 amazingly feel-good chapters. Ended on high notes, no cliffhangers. I'm excited to talk about them, finally. You propped me up so high with last week's double chapter combo of goodness. Which only would have happened because you did the one chapter a week 2 weeks ago.
Sure.
Thus setting up last week's double awesomeness. I didn't prepare for the drop on this roller coaster of emotions that you set me up on.
I understand.
Because this week was a little hard to swallow, which ended up having one of the most frustrating cliffhangers that you've ever left me on. And I'm not happy about it at all. I'm disgruntled, and then I'm upset, and I might have, and I need to say I'm sorry now because she will hear this. I may have bitten Valerie's head off for not continuing to read. Because I'm just here typing my notes away, and I hear the book close, and I said, "What are you doing?" She said, "I'm done." No, ma'am, you are not done reading tonight. She goes, "Yes, that's the end of the chapter." I didn't say it was the end of the chapter. I said, "You're not done reading tonight." She said that she would get in more trouble than she was willing to take on if she continued reading, and I'm pretty sure she put the book under lock and key, so I don't even have access to it anymore.
Thank you, Val.
So I immediately took out my frustrations on her, which was unfair. I should have directed them towards you. And that was only a half hour ago, Matt. Like, I couldn't, calm myself enough to just wait the half hour to get you on the microphone. So now, here we are. This is the position we're in, my friend.
Yep. We've been here before.
Yeah, but not like this. It's just because of last week. And because I know 2 weeks ago the one chapter caused this entire that's what set the domino chain in motion.
Well, who I'd be completely honest about it. When I'm mapping out these books, I usually map them out from the end. Like, I figure out how I want the end to play out.
Sure.
And figure out how we're gonna get there.
Yeah.
And sometimes, that entails one chapter weeks.
I also feel like maybe this book, because of how it started, like you were able to configure the beginning as well. We had a little bit more action in this book than we have in previous books.
Yeah, and honestly, that's part of what happened too. Is like the beginning, we grouped a little stranger too. We had a couple of 3 chapter weeks up there.
Yeah.
And so I had like the beginning planned and the end planned, and I had to kind of meet in the middle, and that's where it got messy.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, this book is messy in the middle, no matter how you slice it. But
very true.
There's a lot going on here, Matt. And I want to step away from the show for just a brief second. My heart and mind has been kind of scattered and all over the place today, as have many people around the world. I'm sure everybody has seen or heard about the awfulness that unfortunately happened in Las Vegas, and it started out just kind of on a sour note this day, and I was really, really looking forward to this evening because we hadn't read last night, to just escaping into the world of Harry Potter and using that as an escape, if only for a couple hours. I know, we've had emails from people since we started the show about how Harry Potter has been used as an escape for people. And that's what I was looking forward to today. And it worked. We get to do the show, and kind of, put real world things aside for a couple hours, which is nice. But if we do have anybody in the Las Vegas area that was directly affected by, what happened, please let us know if there's anything that we can do to help out in any way, shape, or form. Like, we are one big family here in this community, and I know we have people listening all over the place. Obviously we're all pretty torn up by what happened. But like, if there are people listening, like, hopefully people could use this show to escape like I was able to by reading. We'll entertain you for a couple hours as we always do. But like, pull us aside, get a hold of us separately. Like, if there's absolutely anything that anybody needs, please let us know. So just want to throw that out there so we can get back to me being mad at Matt for being a total Slytherin, and just, I'm trying to get through this book, Matt.
You're almost there.
This book is wearing me down chapter by chapter. Order of the Phoenix is... I'm really looking forward to finishing this book at this point. And not because I want to know what happens. I'm just done with
You want to
book.
be done.
I just want to move on to whatever the next book is. Book 6.
It's a good one.
Half-Blood Prince.
You got it.
Is that it?
It is.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Well, you're running out of titles that you haven't read.
Well,
so
I have no idea what the next one is then.
Come on. It used to be your go-to. It used to be the only other one you knew.
Not pulling it right now.
Deathly Hallows.
Ah, yes. That. Yeah, I'm just done with this book. These chapters kind of cemented me just ready to move on at this point. So, cliffhanger to talk about. We have a fun Muggle poll to break up the 2 awful chapters that you forced me to read this week. Hope we have some stellar emails, as we always do at the end of the show.
I think we have a few.
Good. I need those in my life right now, Matt. First, let's do one of our favorite things, and that's give something away for free.
All right.
what is one lucky winner going to walk away with tonight?
This week we are giving away the fabulous third book, but not just any version of the third book. The illustrated edition of Prisoner of Azkaban.
Mm-hmm.
Is not yet released, actually, but it's actually just shipped today. So I should have it in my hands soon.
Officially released this Friday, right? Or this weekend?
October 3rd?
Oh, tomorrow.
So, yeah, tomorrow from when we're recording this.
I don't know the release dates of books. Like, are they the same as other media, Tuesdays?
I think we asked that last time and determined that at least like other Harry Potter books were kind of all over the board, like Friday, Saturday, Tuesday. Yeah. So I don't think there's like a standard release day for books in general, but I mean I think movies have even kind of gotten off of their Tuesday release date.
Tuesday's still big for like
I mean it's still big, but I think there are, especially some of the bigger mainstream ones, like a Star Wars or something, can release on any day, and people are going to know when it is.
That's true. Yeah. Well, regardless, this is a cool book. I can't wait to get my grubby little hands on it. It's fun to be able to pick up new Harry Potter things that I could actually pick up. You know? Yeah.
This is going to be one of those things, kind of like Fantastic Beasts was, where it's essentially new to all of us longtime Harry Potter fans. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like you said, it's not going to spoil anything. You can pick it up and enjoy it along with us.
You can't say no to me on this one, Matt.
Yeah, if I had to say no on this one, there would be something wrong with that book.
Which makes me still kind of raise my eyebrows about Bard's tail thing.
Tales of Beetle Bard.
There we go. Yeah. Still curious about that.
Yeah, I understand.
But I digress. Last week I asked the wonderful people out there to write in about if they were going to put up a storefront in Diagon Alley, what would they be selling? Right? Was that the gist of it?
Yeah. What kind of shop would they own? What would they be selling? I was amazed how much people elaborated on this, especially since there were, I think, at least half the people mentioned like, this has got to be the hardest homework Josh has ever given us. And then I get this like 3-paragraph giveaway entry. I'm like, okay.
Hardest? I thought that was like pretty straightforward.
I
asked people to draw fantastic creatures, Matt. That was pretty challenging, I thought, in the scope of things.
I think it's because like you wanted something kind of unique, something that didn't exist in Diagon Alley. So it's not just like, what's your favorite shop?
Sure.
It's like, what would you open that's not there?
Yeah. I guess that makes sense. Well, I'm excited to hear some responses. But first, let's pick a winner.
All right.
How many am I picking from tonight, Matthew?
Tonight we have a whopping 21 entries.
Holy cow, 21.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. That made it difficult. I
told you that they responded well, and that's why I was surprised how much they wrote in.
Yeah. How many OWL tests did Hermione take?
Ooh,
do we know
what
that
did
number?
She take? I believe she took 10.
That's our lucky number, our lucky winner tonight. Now, okay, let's just stop that here. If anybody is like mad that it wasn't 10 and they feel like it should have been a different number, sorry, blame it on Matt. 10 is our lucky winner, regardless. I like it.
All right. 10 goes to. Do I have a name with this one? I'm pulling this out of the email address. I think this goes to Devin.
Ah, congratulations, Devin. on winning the Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban Illustrated Edition. What did Devin write in and say about a store in Diagon Alley?
It says, hey guys, I would like to have an ice cream shop with crazy flavors. The ice cream would never melt. You could also stack as many scoops on as you want into a cone, and it would stay upright using a charm.
I like that.
Yeah.
Now, the ice cream shop, there's an ice cream shop in... Is it Diagon Alley?
So, that's a good question. Fortescue is in... He would be in Diagon Alley, wouldn't he? Yeah. Because Harry visited him when he was staying at the Leaky Cauldron. Because he helped him with his homework.
Mm-hmm. Hey, maybe Devin wants to open a competing ice cream shop.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. I like a little business competition.
There you go.
The ice cream economy is strong in Diagon Alley. Cool. Thank you, Devin. And congratulations. What was your favorite? You read through them all, right?
Yeah.
Did you have like a favorite one that like really stood out?
There are so many good ones. When I started reading that, I mean, because they came in throughout the week, and it's like I wanted to read them all, but then, like I said, they got lengthy, and then there are a whole lot more than I was expecting.
Okay.
But yeah, people just went all over the board, and things that I didn't even think of. Like there's a wizarding tabletop game store.
Ooh.
Yeah.
that piqued your interest, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. Yeah. Like, and then they went into like all the different types of games and different variations of games they would have. And I'm like, I wouldn't even think of these things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I should probably at least send these over to you sometime.
Sure. Yeah, I'd like to see them.
Yeah. Maybe I can even compile them into a list and put them in the show notes or something like that.
Yeah. We'll do something fun with them.
That might be fun. Yeah.
There's a pet store in Diagon Alley, right? That's where Crookshanks came from.
Shoot.
Yeah, there has to be.
Did it come from Diagon or is it Hogsmeade?
Well, they wouldn't have been shopping because they were shopping for school supplies. So they wouldn't have gone to Hogsmeade. Because it was before the year started.
But that's where they had...
Because that's when they met up with Harry when he was hanging out at the Leaky Cauldron.
Okay. Because I was thinking that's when they had Scabbers looked at too, and I was thinking that was later in the year. But no, you're right. It's in Diagon Alley.
Yeah.
The Magical Menagerie.
Yeah. Because Scabbers... Because Ron had just gotten back from Egypt, right? That summer?
That's why.
And Scabbers was acting all weird?
Yeah. I was thinking he had been acting weird at school, and then they went to Hogsmeade, but no. Yeah.
That was our first inclination that Scabbers was maybe not the rat we assumed he was.
Yes. Scabbers played a much bigger role in the third book there.
Also, the introduction to the most shifty character in the world, Crookshanks, the cat.
Just listen to that name. Crook.
Yeah. I'm deceived. Been deceived since day one. Not me, though. I know what's up, man. Thank you to everybody that participated in that. I can't wait to see more responses. And kind of just get the lay of the land of what the business landscape would look like in Diagon Alley if you guys had your way with it. So, thank you to everybody, and congratulations to Devin. At the end of the show, we'll have another fun giveaway with another tough homework assignment attached to it. So, get out your quills now and your parchment and get ready to write, folks. Let's go ahead and jump into the chapters, Matt.
All right.
Mr. Slytherin. Harry Potter, Order in the Phoenix.
Chapter 31. Owls. Or O.W.L.S, if you will.
No. We'll call them Owls.
owls.
Yeah.
So, oddly enough, we do have a boatload full of characters, but I know you're not going to care about them for the most part.
There's a couple of them that I cared about, Matt.
Yeah?
Yeah. And
okay.
I will say this. The conversation of that we had possibly last week or 2 weeks ago where I said we're at the end of the book, we're done with new characters, we don't need any more new characters, like, let's just move along. It came back to haunt me. I was like, well, here we go.
Yep.
Matt knew this was coming, so cool.
So my list includes Bradley, Chambers, Griselda Marchbanks, Eddie Carmichael, Harold Dingle, Daphne Greengrass, Professor Tofty, Tiberius Ogden, and Pierre Bonnecord.
A few of those I don't remember. A few of those,
as I figured,
were students that I could not remember if we had met yet or not, because, you know, sometimes students' names just get thrown out there and never to be heard from again. And then the examiners, I had to have a talk with myself whether or not we had met any of these people, whether it be at the Department of the Ministry? Yeah, the Ministry, not the Department of.
Everything within the Ministry is a department.
I know. The Department of Mystery screws me up when I'm trying to say the Ministry.
The Ministry of Magic.
The Ministry of Magic, not the Department of... It's
Department of Mysteries is within the Ministry of Magic.
Some things in this series just were not meant to be talked about on a podcast, Matt.
They're meant to be read in your head.
Yes, never said out loud. So, you know, we've been several places and we've heard certain names of wizards and witches that sometimes is just in passing, you know, with the Order of the Phoenix and all that good stuff. I can never remember minor characters at the time that may come back to surface. So,
sure.
The Griselda Marchbanks, I definitely did not remember ever. So I kind of highlighted that one as being possibly important. And then the Professor Tofty, that was another one that stood out for sure. So.
Yeah, I mean, those are the two we probably talked about the most in this chapter. So,
yeah. So I'm glad to hear that they are new characters to me and to everybody at this point. I'm not losing my mind. Okay. Let's step down here for a second, Matt, and have some real talk here.
Okay.
I did not care about the owls as much as I wanted to.
Okay.
Shockingly enough, reading about final exams at a school is not the most exciting reading ever.
It's about as much fun as taking the exams yourself.
That's what I was thinking the whole time. Like, man, this is just in here just because they talked about it all year, not because anything interesting is happening here. Like, they went off without a hitch. There was nothing. The owls added no substance. Like, I think I feel let down.
Like, if anything, you just got to argue world building again.
Yes, but I feel let down because that's all we've heard about since the beginning of the school year was how important the owls were, and how much of a big deal the owls were. And I know there's so much more stuff going on at Hogwarts that doesn't involve the owls, but in my head, I had built them up to be this like big event, and it turns out that they are literally just final exams, and it happens. And what else can you say about them?
Pretty much, yeah.
It just bored me, Matt. Now, I picked out some things. You know, I was like, okay, cool. We're learning about some new magical creatures, and JK's throwing some fun Josh things in there. But overall, it's like, okay, cool. Another test. Yep. Okay. Hermione's doing that. Okay. Yep. Yep. Another test. Okay. Cool. Another test. Okay. Yep. Another test. Yep. Oh, we don't even get to find out how they do on the test until The holidays possible.
Yeah,
Oh,
until
great.
July. Yeah.
We just did a whole thing that we won't even have answers or conclusion to until probably the next book. Awesome. It was just a letdown.
Sure.
So for the whole chapter to be named after these like mundane, boring events.
That's all that happened in the chapter.
Was it? Was it?
It was the bulk of the chapter.
I feel like there is a far more significant event that happened in this chapter that could have easily been the title of the chapter.
But if it were the title of the chapter, I don't think, like, you I guess you'd be waiting for it maybe, but you wouldn't, like, it wouldn't have the same impact.
I guess. I don't know. I know what you're saying. I'm frustrated by a lot of things, Matt. First of all, let's start off with the beginning of the chapter, real quick.
Okay.
Kids are all hanging out outside by the tree.
Yes.
By the lake.
Yeah.
Doing kid things by the lake.
Yep.
This was the obligatory giant squid reference to a T.
Pretty much, yeah. Anytime they're sitting out by the lake, just relaxing.
Nice day.
Nice sunny day.
Yep. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm at least going to get a sentence out of this. Nothing. No giant squid, Matt.
Not this time.
I knew right then and there. I was like, this is downhill. This could be a long night. Okay. Hermione preventing the dumb boys from using PEDs to help them pass their tests.
Yes.
Is the most Hermione thing I've ever seen.
Yeah. Just the fact that, like, I mean, we've heard about, like, black market before at Hogwarts, but the fact that, they're basically, peddling drugs now, or wannabe drugs.
Yeah. I hadn't even, like, considered, like, even, like, when the O.W.L.S started, I hadn't even considered kids at Hogwarts cheating on exams. Because, like, even the struggling
teenagers,
kids,
come on.
I know, but, like, even the struggling kids, like, in my head, it's like, you guys are still learning magic. Like, there's really no reason to cheat, because all this is still pretty cool, you know, regardless. I understand that some people are better than others, and some people are really bad at their studies and whatnot, but I had never even considered the possibility of all these, you know, dumb teenage kids running around with magical abilities cheating on tests. And, you know.
It's human nature. Nobody wants to fail.
Yeah, I know. I forget that they're dumb kids, you know. So, like, the mention of anti-cheating charms being placed on all the exams and everything, I'm like, oh yeah, that's totally a thing there, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, like, and they have to go to, like, even extra measures just because it is magic.
Yeah. Yeah, there's, I mean, I made notes of all this stuff, Matt, but I'm not interested in talking about a lot of them. The one big takeaway I will say, referring to, like, the whole cheating thing and the owls in general, was, I can't remember who it was, but somebody made the mention that, maybe it was Dumbridge herself, that if kids are caught cheating, that it will make Dumbridge's entire regime as headmistress of Hogwarts look bad. And I'm like, these kids better get to cheating right now. Like, the entire school needs to, you know, stand up and just actively try to cheat as much as they possibly can to mess up Dumbridge. But
yeah, that was McGonagall, like, explaining this to the kids, and she's like, our new headmistress has asked the heads of house to tell their students that cheating will be punished most severely because, of course, your examination results will reflect upon the headmistress's new regime at the school.
Okay, yeah. I don't know. I was just like, well, the owls are important to the kids. Like, they've been working towards these all year. They're not going to Friend George it and risk everything for the sake of sticking it to Dunbridge. But, man, what if they did?
Yeah.
Would have been nice. We got to meet the examiners. They're ancient-looking wizards and witches. Cool. Old people there showing up at Hogwarts, doing tests, examinations. We got further confirmation that Dumbledore is a pretty decent wizard, so that's reassuring.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He's not going to be found if he doesn't want to be.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing.
Yep.
There was a particular amount of emphasis put on his ability to transfigure into things.
Sure.
For some reason, that stuck out in my head. And as the chapter started to play out, I got to a point, Matt, where I realized that I had an idea for another episode of Muggle Theories.
Yeah?
Yeah. Because we found out that another Niffler was placed in Dumbledge's office. I was like, who could it be here? And I started listing possible suspects, first people to come to mind, really, that I thought would have the reason or means to put Nifflers in Dumbledge's office. And I was like, ooh, I got a Muggle theory here brewing, right? This could be something fun, because at that moment, when I started thinking about who it could be, callback to Dumbledore being really good at transfiguration popped in my head. I said, wait a second. What if nobody is putting the Nifflers in Dumbledore's office? Or Dumbridge's office? What if Dumbledore is a Niffler? And I was going to have the greatest Muggle theory episode of my life.
Yeah.
I was going to lay out this entire whole crazy whiteboard theory about how Dumbledore and why Dumbledore is disguised and hiding as a Niffler in Hogwarts, and just wreaking havoc on Dumbridge's office, and it was going to be so fantastic. And I was like, oh, I am on to something here. I picked up the breadcrumbs, and it led me right into a delicious loaf of bread. And then my boy Lee Jordan has to go and ruin the entire episode that I was about to do by taking credit for levitating Nifflers up through her window and into her office. A couple Nifflers that the twins had left him for emergency use only. And I'm like, you know what, Lee Jordan? I appreciate you. I appreciate you, living up to the standards that the twins left. But I'm also really mad that my Muggle theory will not happen now.
Yeah, that definitely would have been a good episode, but I still like the idea that Fred and George just happened to have some Nifflers laying around,
right? And
they knew they didn't need them, so they left them with Lee, and it's like, we trust you. You know what to do with these.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to see that Lee is or can be just as much the prankster as Fred. Like he was taught by the best.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think naturally he was as gifted as the twins at causing mischief.
Yeah,
but he
was always hanging around.
Yeah, yeah. So Lee Jordan still doing his thing. I appreciate that. Other than that, Matt, owls were just the. Like, did you have anything exciting you wanted to talk about?
Specifically about the owls? Not necessarily.
Up until the event?
I mean, just the fact that you've been asking for it, and we finally got a look at the astronomy class.
Yeah, that's a real thing, isn't it?
Yep. They've been taking it all year. They got to take the owl now.
I mean, they could have easily just skipped right over it.
To be perfectly honest, like that's the scene that always sticks in my head with astronomy, and like it comes, it's not until the end of book 5 that we get that scene,
right?
And so it's like, we don't get.
Now I could totally see why everybody blatantly, clearly remembers that astronomy is a thing.
Yeah.
From my perspective, there was nothing to hang my hat on up until now regarding the astronomy class.
Yeah, like to be perfectly honest, the people always mention the homework that they're assigned, like the star charts and stuff.
Yeah, but
and like I always, for some reason, connect that to like divination and telling the future, because I think that they had some similar kind of thing to do with planets and how they aligned.
Yeah.
And so like making a star chart and that type of thing didn't seem too far away from that. And so you forget about it from time to time.
Yeah. Well, forget no more, because astronomy class just got interesting.
Yes.
Everybody's trying to focus really hard on looking through their telescopes and creating their star charts, and
which they must have a lot of telescopes, by the way.
Yeah. Well, they probably go through a lot also, if we are to believe what Peeves is up to on his free time.
Yes.
Oh, Peeves. So as everybody's doing this, it's middle of the night, right? Because when else are you going to do astrology? Astrology or astronomy?
Astronomy.
I always get the two confused. You have to do that in the middle of the night. Makes sense.
Yes.
You can't map the stars in the middle of the day.
It'd be quite the challenge.
Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, Matt, there's a commotion.
Yep.
At Hagrid's cabin.
Yep.
I'm very confused by the scene that's being explained to me right now, and I think that was intentional, because we are seeing it from Harry's point of view, and he's, up elevated in a tower, but still a distance away.
Yeah, like he's far away from what's actually happening. He's trying to take his exam. He's trying not to focus on it, but of course it's Hagrid, and who knows who else is out there now. So, yeah, Harry gets distracted.
Yeah.
That's a central theme to every book.
Harry does something dumb. Harry gets distracted. Harry tries to save somebody he probably shouldn't try to save. There's every Harry Potter story ever told. So there's a bunch of people heading over to Hagrid's hut. Then just chaos ensues. I was very confused because they kept talking about like the large man, basically getting attacked by what we could assume would be wizards and witches. And in my head, like the largeness, I think I elevated it up more than it needed to be based on the descriptions. And I was like, why is Grop hanging out with Hagrid at his, like, he should be deep in the forest. What's he doing at Hagrid's hut? Is Hagrid like bringing him over for dinner? Like, is Hagrid that stupid? No. Oh no. I was confusing like the size of which Hagrid is with,
Yeah. And that's the thing, you have to remember just how big Hagrid is. Like, I still think that they did pretty well in the movies and such.
Yeah.
But I think that's the image that's probably stuck in your head now, where in the movies he looks like maybe he's 8 feet tall.
Right.
Where in the book I think he's supposed to be closer to like 12.
Sure.
And so when he's described here, as this large man, like he's supposed to be like twice as tall as anybody else out there.
Yeah. But in my head, like he's only like a couple feet taller than probably everybody else that's there.
Yeah, he's like a head taller than Dumbledore or something.
So the wording was wrong. Like I obviously got to the point where I knew it was Hagrid. I think like it was specifically said like Hagrid yelled out or something like that. I'm like, okay, cool. Like it's not Hagrid trying to hide his giant in his cabinet. Like it's just Hagrid being Hagrid.
Yeah, I would question if Grop would fit in his cabinet.
But see, I don't know how big like his house actually is, so I don't know. It was all a little confusing to start out with, but I think part of that was also intentional because it was very confusing to the people, especially Harry, that was seeing it all kind of unfold.
Yeah. Whereas even for Harry, like we've said, like he has been through many adventures and such, so he's kind of used to commotion. But I think it was worse for the examiner, who was up there with them, who wasn't expecting any type of commotion, hasn't been around Hogwarts when this stuff has been going on, and like especially in the middle of the night, you would think this should be the nice peaceful exam. Like,
right.
Nothing should be distracting anybody. The rest of the kids are sleeping.
Yeah. Nope. There's some things going on. Yeah, this moment kind of like reminded me of like an Incredible Hulk type of situation.
Very much so.
Like Hagrid just like throwing people against walls and
exactly. Once he starts swinging, that's basically what I'm picturing. Now that you mention it, like I picture it as Hagrid.
Yeah.
But like I guess the movements in my head are very, very Hulk-like.
Yeah. and they're doing stunning charms on him, and they're just like bouncing off of him, and
Yep.
Pretty much invincible to everything going on, and the rage, like the pure rage that was coming from Hagrid, like that's something that we haven't really seen yet.
Yeah.
So that was kind of jarring for sure.
That's his giant side coming through.
Yeah. We just haven't seen it before. He's always so calm and collected.
Well, generally people aren't attacking him either.
That's true.
Like if you treat him as an equal, like he's just fine.
Weird. Why would anybody want that? What was even more surprising about all this is going on. I was kind of chuckling at people getting tossed around by Hagrid and Dumbridge not being able to really do much. McGonagall comes to the rescue.
Yeah, well,
out of nowhere.
She's basically, well, Umbridge thinks she's in charge at least, but McGonagall feels she has a responsibility to protect the castle at this point. Like she's number one at this point.
How did she get wind of what was going on? That's what I want to know.
It was noisy.
I guess so.
I don't imagine she was sleeping yet.
Yeah, that's true. Especially with kids out and about taking owls and.
Yep.
Yeah, it was. I cheered a little bit with McGonagall running to the rescue and telling them to back off, and it's like McGonagall, Hagrid got this. Like he's good. I appreciate the sentiment here, but step back. Unfortunately, she was taken down by 4 direct stunning charms to the chest.
Yeah. Without warning.
Yeah. We haven't really seen that before.
No. No. We've seen like a stunning charm maybe, and like aimed at. Nothing of this magnitude.
Yeah. And for it to happen to somebody as strong and powerful as McGonagall was unnerving.
Yeah.
And then that just set off Hagrid even more so.
Yep. Like his loyalty set in again.
Yeah, and he completely hulked out. Now I don't remember. Did they directly say that like Fang was hit or attacked?
Oh yeah.
I must have missed that in the chaos of everything.
Fang basically tried to jump up in between Hagrid and the gaggle of witches and wizards that were there.
Okay.
And he got stunned. He was knocked out and won.
Okay. I must have blacked out during that line or something.
There's a lot going on.
There was. A lot to process, Matt. And take notes at the same time. It was just too much. So, the visual of Hagrid carrying Fang on his back, on his shoulders, and just like running off into the woods is the most Hagrid thing I could think of.
Yep.
Uh,
like the only thing that would be more Haggard, I think, is if he would have picked up McGonagall too.
yeah. Which, like I wonder if she had how close she had gotten to Hagrid, like would he have, how hard it would have been for him to go pick her up and retrieve her as well.
Sure.
Or he knew that, she needed medical help, which he wasn't able to provide, and, they would, of course, get her to Madame Pomfrey and so on and so forth. So, like, maybe Hagrid was actually thinking ahead on this one.
Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just, see my boy Hagrid attack like that. Obviously, we could assume that Dumbridge was trying to, get rid of him. She's doing it in the cloak of darkness in the middle of the night, which we kind of like talked about, I think, in the next chapter. Might have been, I don't remember when exactly, but it was to prevent a scene like what happened with
Trelawney.
Yep. I can't believe I forgot her name. There's certain names I wish I forget, Matt, and Trelawney's not necessarily one of them, but So yeah, I mean, what's McGonagall's status? Is she okay? What? So many where's Hagrid going? What's he going to do with Fang? Boy, it's rough times at Hogwarts all of a sudden.
Indeed.
The Dumbridge regime is cracking down, and she's fighting back in ways that only she can. How many names of people in that gaggle of wizards and witches did we actually get? Dumbridge, and then there's one other name, right?
Dawlish.
That's right. Okay. I don't remember where he's from.
Dawlish was one of the Aurors that came to take Dumbledore away.
Okay, that's right.
He came with Kingsley.
Right. Okay. I knew the name sounded familiar. I knew it wasn't a new character.
That's where you first met him. But
okay.
Yeah. The fact that once again she's bringing these Aurors in to essentially just to fire someone.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder.
But we don't know who the other people were that were with her.
They were not named.
Okay.
No.
Cool. That's either very interesting or just JK didn't want to create a whole bunch of more new characters for me to not care about. So we shall see as the book progresses, I suppose. Boy, that was a lot to take in.
Yeah.
A lot of unanswered questions after all of that. I didn't quite know how to feel. Then we went right back to taking some more owls because, sure, let's do some more exams, right?
They weren't done yet.
They should have been.
What, they're going to cancel the owls?
Yeah, why not? I mean, that was a big thing. No, of course they're not going to cancel the owls. We just didn't need to hear about them. But, we did.
We did.
Because Harry fell asleep.
Yep. He's good at that.
He's good at that. And at this point, if I know anything about this book, when Harry Potter is mentioned to be fallen asleep, that will be immediately followed up by the dream of which I do not care about. It's like clockwork, Matt.
Sure.
Like mentioning the lake and the tree is clockwork to me getting my giant squid reference. Why would that ever change? Well, unlike the giant squid reference, this did not change either. We got a Harry back in his dream that he's not supposed to have, or not supposed to see, or something. Bore me to death. I'm just like, okay. Hallway, cool. Room, cool. Plastic or glass balls, cool. Blah, 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 blah. Stop with the dreams already. Then something interesting happens.
We got farther.
a little bit farther. Which, I would have said before this, I don't care how far he gets. It just doesn't matter to me at all. But I think you and everybody else knew that it would eventually matter to me.
we hoped at least.
I have.
You might just be so sick of the dream. It's like, yeah, I don't care how it ends.
I have blood.
It started this dream.
Matt.
I'm done with this.
I'm not a Slytherin, Matt. I care a little bit about things.
Okay.
We saw Sirius.
Mm-hmm.
And he seemed to be not himself. He was in danger of sorts.
Yeah, kind of just crawling along ground there.
Mm-hmm.
Not really doing too well.
He wasn't alone.
No.
O.W.L.S was there with him.
So it seems.
Well, was it Voldy? Because it kind of seemed like it was Harry Potter. Also referring to himself as Voldy.
Yeah, I mean, because it was the high, cold voice again.
Mm-hmm.
That's always attributed to Voldemort.
Yeah.
It's kind of what we've seen before with the snake.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like
exactly.
I said,
yep.
Voldemort was possessing the snake, and so Harry was the snake.
Right. Same thing, except this was possibly Voldy.
Yeah.
And he's looking down at Sirius Black on the grounds, reaching for a wand or holding a wand. I can't remember.
Who?
Sirius.
Sirius?
Or no. Was Voldy holding a wand? There was a wand involved somewhere in there. I don't remember.
Well, yeah. Voldy definitely had his wand.
Yeah. And it looked like he was trying to get some information out of Sirius, specifically about the weapon, one could assume, which is what this whole dream has been about, really. Using the Cruciatus Curse.
So, yeah, he's not quite trying to get information, necessarily. He wants Sirius to get something for him.
Sure, yeah, okay. Yes. Okay. At the end of this chapter, I was really confused about everything that kind of happened. And, like, even now, like, I think about it and, like, we talk about it, it's still a little hazy. It's still a little cloudy. I just know Sirius was involved. I know Voldy was involved. I know the Cruciatus Curse was involved, which is never a good thing. And basically, Sirius is in trouble. And Voldy's trying to use him.
Yeah.
And threatens to kill him afterwards. Not threatens. Basically declares that he's going to.
Sure.
Right? And that was the end of the chapter, really.
Yeah. Because, of course, Harry fell off his desk and woke up again.
Yeah. It's a lot to take in, Matt.
Yeah.
For a chapter pretending to be about the owls, there's a lot more going on.
And yeah, but like I said, what would you have called this chapter?
The Cruciatus Curse. Hagrid the Hulk.
Like, I just think that gives too much away.
I know. I get it, Matt. I just wanted more from the tests themselves and less about the crappy things that happen while the tests are being taken by Harry Potter.
But like, I think if you called it like the Cruciatus Curse, like, you'd just be waiting for that, and it's like, why are you talking about these tests?
I know. I know. I get it. I just, like I said, I'm just disappointed overall that turns out final exams are overall pretty boring.
What do you know? Tests are tests.
Tests are tests. So that's the end of chapter 31. Nothing else I want to talk about. I think we covered all the main important talking points. It ends on a kind of a cliffhanger, kind of confusing. We're left in a cloud of mystery on several different levels. So, I'm thinking, wow, we're going to get some solid answers in the next chapter. Matt wouldn't do me dirty and, leave me hanging out to dry with another cliffhanger of a chapter. So I was looking forward to continuing the reading sesh tonight, Matt.
Sure.
But before we get into that chapter, and I start yelling some more, let's check out the Muggle poll, shall we?
Let's do it.
Muggle poll we put up on our Twitter accounts at Tales from GH. Goes up about 4 p.m. Pacific time on the day of the recording of these episodes, which tends to be Mondays. Matt comes up with a really fun question revolving around the reading that we do for the week, and it gives you guys the chance to let us know what kind of people you really are. Are you good? Are you bad? Are you indifferent? We find out every week. Everybody's just lucky that they don't have to sign their name to the poll options.
Yeah.
Which ones you vote for, because that would tell us a lot more if we could pin down these people who's voting incorrectly. Anyway,
okay.
What's our Muggle poll this week, Matt?
Well, this week, like you said, we were talking about the owls. Maybe a little too much in your opinion, but we're going to talk about them again anyway.
Fine. One more time.
So, if you had the opportunity to... I'm just going to make you take one owl. You don't have to take all of them. Oh, no one wants to take that History of Magic owl.
Oh, I do.
All right. In any case, which owl would you most look forward to taking?
Mm-hmm.
I gave you the options this week of potions, charms, defense against the dark arts. Yes, dark arts, not Dumbledore's army. Thank you, Alex. Or care of magical creatures.
Is that an owl that you could take? Defense against the Dumbledore's army?
Alex thinks it is.
Is that just taken by Slytherin?
Yes, that's the prerequisite to get into the Inquisitorial Squad.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, 4 choices.
Yes.
You're only allowed 4 on a poll on Twitter.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Sometimes 4 is way too many, Matt.
I understand, but the option is always nice.
4 is definitely not enough. So what did the people out there say?
Well, this is going to be interesting because once again we have half an hour left in this poll, and it's really close.
Mm-hmm.
So, I apologize if these change, but as it stands right now, we have 32% for defense against dark arts.
Okay.
But we then have a close tie for second with charms and care of magical creatures coming in at 30%. So it could actually swing any way yet.
Yeah. I mean,
but
it's probably not going to go potions, but I don't think potions is making a comeback this late in the game.
Yeah, yes. 8% for potions. I think they're pretty much done.
Yeah. Who wants to take the owl in potions?
There are a few people.
Yeah. Crazy people. I, of course, went care of magical creatures because, duh.
As I knew you would.
What did you pick, though, Matt? It has to be between charms and defense against Dumbledore's army.
Yeah. It was definitely a close call between those two. I eventually settled on defense, but yeah, I could be persuaded either way.
Interesting results. I honestly think No, I'm not. I don't think. I'm surprised by the fact that care of magical creatures got so high.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's something that I like, and I know the listening audience knows that I like it, but I don't think anytime, it gets put up with other fun things to do at Hogwarts, it's ever really that close, Sure. So I appreciate that. Maybe everybody just wants to do it because they know it's going to be an easy class. Everybody feels like experts after watching Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, so they're like, we got this.
Yeah.
We'll see. Thank you to everybody for participating in the Muggle Poll. Be on the lookout for it next week on our Twitter account, Tales from GH. Let's just get into Chapter 32, Matt.
All right. Chapter 32. It's titled Out of the Fire.
See, now this is an intriguing chapter title. Because I didn't know what to expect.
You got to have an intriguing one after you have,
that.
The exams.
Yeah.
It's essentially what that one is called.
Yeah. The boring part. Did we have any new characters this chapter?
No.
Okay. We found out McGonagall was shipped off to St. Mungo's.
Which, after having visited St. Mungo's, that definitely doesn't sound good. Like, why couldn't Madame Pomfrey have just taken care of her? Like, was it really that bad?
I mean, Pomfrey kind of said it was.
Yeah. Like, it makes you worry a bit.
Yeah, I mean, in Pomfrey we trust, but, if she needs more help, I'm glad that, she's able to go to St. Mungo's and get taken care of. I don't like her being away from Hogwarts by any stretch of the imagination.
Like, I guess I just think about who else we've seen at St. Mungo's.
Yeah.
These are generally you could consider them almost terminal cases.
Mr. Weasley.
Like, he's the one exception. Like, sure. Everybody else there, though, they're there for a bunch of different reasons, but they're probably staying there. Like, you don't really see them getting better.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm mixed on all that. I guess I just don't like the fact that McGonagall's not at Hogwarts to help run the show.
Agreed.
Yeah. Even without proper authority to do so. So then we just got right into the hard-hitting questions. How did Voldy even get a hold of Sirius in the first place to be in that weird position in the Department of Mysteries that Harry saw in a dream that might be real, but he's not sure if it's real, but it might be a dream, and questions.
Yeah. Sirius was definitely supposed to be in hiding.
Yeah. Hermione brought up a good point. How did the two most wanted wizards in the entire world get into, at the same time, such a high security place?
Which, to be perfectly honest, that line always throws me off because I don't think of Sirius as a bad guy.
Right.
Because we know he's innocent, right?
Right.
So to consider the two of them the two most wanted wizards in the world, it's like I never would have drawn that connection between them.
Yeah. No. But you have to look at it from the Department of the Ministry of Magic. Every time, Matt, I can't do it. My brain is not wired correctly.
Hopefully we'll get you there.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I'm totally with Hermione on all of this, so there's not a lot of anything is making a lot of sense right now.
Sure.
Harry Potter does have a hero complex. He likes to save people. We wouldn't have a really good series of books if he didn't.
That's questionable, but there's reasons why everybody wants the books from Hermione's point of view or from Fred and George's point of view.
Yeah. But the whole thing does kind of feel like a trick, right? Now,
does it?
I don't know. I am so conflicted on all of this. I can't wrap my head around what's really happening and what's supposed to be happening. Like, Harry's supposed to be blocking out his mind. Is it to prevent him from seeing what's really happening to Sirius, or is it to prevent him from being tricked into thinking that he's seeing Sirius in trouble to get him?
So you keep using the word tricked.
Yeah.
How or who or how is this a trick?
If Voldy was able to penetrate his dream sequences, his mind space, get in there, and basically, through whatever weird connection that they have together, make Harry Potter see things that may or may not actually be happening.
That's some serious power.
Yeah, it's Voldy. He has some serious power.
Because, like I said, Harry's seen things before, but he's just been seeing things that have been happening as they happen.
Right.
Now, I guess this one is kind of strange too, because it's been like a recurring dream, and so has it really been happening every night?
I don't know. We time hop so much. I have no idea. The whole dream thing, Matt, is just so tedious and boring and confusing to me. Like, I know that he kind of saw when he was essentially the big snake that attacked Mr. Weasley, and Mr. Weasley was actually attacked, so we know that actually happened. But there was some weird connection between him and the snake and Voldy at that point. So whatever's going on here, I don't know. I don't know what's going on, and it just is driving me crazy. Maybe I've been not wanting to care about this dream at all because I didn't really want to sit down and think about what could be happening.
Okay.
And, like, the thought of Sirius actually being in danger here is super upsetting. So I don't want that to actually be real. So maybe I'm just being in denial a little bit. But, like,
I can see that, yeah.
Like, even just talking about it now, I'm getting a little choked up thinking that, like, this is really happening to Sirius Black. And I don't want this to be real for Harry's sake.
The closest thing he has to family.
Right. You know, at this point, he's not emotionally able to go through something like that. You know, like, Cedric dying was one thing.
Yeah.
Somebody like Sirius Black being in a life or death situation at the hands of Voldy is something completely different. Especially, so say this is all real. This is all happening in real time.
Okay.
Cedric gets killed in like a matter of seconds. Harry had no time to emotionally prepare or grieve or react in any way other than he's dead now. Now we have to move forward from this.
Sure.
There is a potential that he is seeing his godfather, his dead father's best friend, the closest thing that he has to any sort of family member, being tortured by the person who wants to kill him, that was responsible for killing his parents, tortured to the point of eventually being possibly killed. He has to think about this. He has to rationalize it. He has to process it. He has to know that it's happening or think that it's happening or wonder if it's happening. And, like, I'm in pain thinking about the worst case scenario because I know that's where he is also. Sirius Black being killed in like a 2-second, boom, it happened, now it's over type of thing would be gut-wrenching, but this is far more than that. This is just heartbreaking on so many different levels, and I don't want it to be real, so I think I'm a little bit in denial that it's happening. Harry's trying to be rational because he thinks that he could save him, or try to, or whatever. He's being a dumb 15-year-old boy, but he's motivated to do so.
Sure.
So I don't know where we're at. I don't know how to process this. I don't know what to think. I don't know if this is real. I'm confused by what's happening and why it's happening and how it's happening. And I think kind of like all of his friends are too, and Harry is, and it just, I don't know what to think of it all, and it sucks. And starting the chapter off this way, I was dreading that we would have some sort of conclusion to this particular thing in this chapter, which we didn't. So now I'm kind of left thinking, how long is this going to be dragged out for? Which I'm not ready for, because now I have to sit on it and think about it and worry about it. And anybody out there asking for me to do a Muggle theories about how all this is going to shake out, or what's happening in the dream or not happening or anything like that, not going to happen. I cannot sit here and try to speculate because I will have a breakdown. So, the only saving grace of this whole thing, the only thing that made me smirk a little bit, was Luna Lovegood throwing out a Stubby Boardman reference. Because she's so oblivious to everything else around her.
Yep.
She's in her own world like nobody else.
Are you talking about Stubby Boardman?
Like, they didn't even acknowledge her. They just looked at her and they're like, what is she even doing? Like, what are you doing, Luna? What are you doing?
Yeah.
So, that all happened. I don't know where I sit emotionally. I don't need you to ask me, which I'm sure emails will be asking, like, what do I think of this? Is it really happening? Is he just dreaming? Blah, blah, blah. I don't know. It hurts to even think about the possibility of Sirius being tortured and eventually killed by Voldy. I don't want to think about that.
Sure.
I understand it's real. Possible that it's happening. But I need to play the silver lining card that Hermione's playing and saying maybe it's just a trick. Voldy is trying to lure Harry into breaking into the Ministry of Magic, into the Department of Mysteries for some reason, which I'm still unclear about, and he's using the thought of him possibly losing Sirius as bait. Would I put that past Voldy? Absolutely not. How he's able to do it, I don't know. This is a magical world. I don't even question things anymore, Matt.
Fair enough.
So, Harry needs answers. What's the best way to get answers?
Do something stupid.
Do something stupid. They come up with a plan. They're going to distract Dumbridge. They're going to distract her long enough for Harry to slip into her office and use the Flu Network again, her fireplace, to check in with the Black household and either confirm or deny that Sirius Black is in the house and that he's not out, possibly at the Ministry of Magic.
Yes.
At first I thought their plan was decent, right?
Maybe.
They had lookouts, they had like a way to acknowledge that somebody might be coming, they had like a distraction in place. All this was sounding really good.
Yeah, but you have to figure any plan that they come up with in 2 minutes or less might have some flaws.
Yeah. Yeah, it was bad from the start. They're not the twins, you know? The twins could create a distraction. Peeves, he could probably help, but Ron is trying to fill the shoes of the twins himself. You just know. At this point, I just knew this was not going to end well. Like,
sure.
on multiple different levels. Right? Distraction happens. Pops his head into the fireplace. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Looks in. What happens, Matt?
Creature happens.
Creature happens. Creature
Yeah.
creeping.
He, once again, is much less than helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's in a good mood.
Which doesn't bode well.
No. It's... Yeah. I just knew. As soon as... I just knew. Empty kitchen, and then the only person stirring, the only thing stirring in the house is Creature. And he's not, like, freaking out. He's not being sassy. He's not being grumpy. He's being excited and pleasant. It's bad news. And I'm thinking, Sirius is in serious trouble.
Yeah.
No pun intended, Matt. Serious talk here. Did Creature help Voldy? I don't know. Does Creature know that Sirius went to...
Wait.
What?
How is he helping Voldy?
No. I don't know if he did. I'm thinking...
Well, how would he?
I don't know. Call him up and say, hey, Sirius Black is living here. Come pick him up.
Wizards don't use telephones.
I know. You know what I mean. I don't know. Creature is capable of all kinds of shenanigans. I don't know how he would get a hold of Voldy. I don't know if he ratted him out. That's not even a theory on the table. That's just as I'm processing what's going on, I'm thinking, is he chuckling and smirking because he got Sirius caught up by Voldy?
Okay.
Obviously, I'm not stuck on that anymore. What it turns out to be is just like he knows that Sirius Black went to the Ministry of Magic and went to the Department of Mysteries, and that he's pretty certain that he's not coming back. You know?
That's how it seems, yeah.
House elves, man, they're temperamental, aren't they?
They're the worst. I'll say it.
I wouldn't say they are the worst.
They're the worst.
I would say there's one or two of them that might be close to the worst. Yeah, look, we found out the Sirius is gone. Creature is claiming... Now, he didn't say it specifically. Like, Harry kind of asked him if Sirius Black was at the Department of Mysteries inside the Ministry of Magic.
Yeah, and he basically didn't deny it.
Yeah.
But
I mean, Creature didn't say, oh, he went here. Harry was like, hey, did he go there? Do you know if he went there? And he's like, yeah, he totally did, and he's never coming back. You know, so I don't know how much to believe. You know, if Creature had come out and said that this is where he went without any sort of, not being prompted to say so, I would be a lot more concerned, but I'm still concerned.
Sure.
Yeah. So Harry's kind of freaking out. Obviously so. We don't really know anything at this point other than nobody else is, like, the Order of the Phoenix is not there at the house. You know, where's Lupin? Where's Tonks? Where's everybody?
Headquarters is empty.
Yeah. That's a bad sign.
Generally, yeah.
Maybe they're all out doing something. Whatever. Harry just saw this brief moment in time when no one else is there. And, you know, knowing what he thought he already knew about the situation, this kind of just confirmed everything. It's on. They're going to rush out, and they're going to go save Sirius Black, right?
That's the plan.
Well, like most plans that Harry has, it just didn't work out. Because Dumbridge, of course, caught them red-handed. Tell me about this, Matt. Explain what happened. I'm so upset about everything.
So Umbridge pulls him out of the fire. And, of course, she's not alone. She's got her stupid inquisitorial squad along with her.
Mm-hmm.
And they all have prisoners of their own, essentially. I mean, most of them are even, like, bound and gagged. Like, it's ridiculous how far they take this.
Right.
But, yeah. She catches Harry, wants to know what he was up to, who he's talking to.
Catches everybody. The whole squad got caught up, including our good friend Neville. Somehow he makes his way back into...
Wrong place, wrong time.
Oh, Neville. You're just... And it was honorable, you know?
Exactly. Like, he was trying to protect Ginny. He was standing up for Ginny. Like, this... we haven't seen it since really book 4 when they went to the Yule Ball.
Right.
But he's back at it.
Yeah. I appreciate that. I appreciate Neville reemerging as the stand-up dude that we know him to be. You know?
Gryffindor all the way?
For sure. The Slytherin kids are the worst, so we could just not talk about that for too long. Also the worst, Umbridge.
The worst of the worst.
She's just the worst of the worst. She, she's trying to get information out of Harry. He wants to know who he's trying to communicate with. Who is he trying to talk to? She suspects that it's Dumbledore. But she has no idea. So she calls on for Snape to come in. And I'm thinking, oh boy. Snape and Harry are not on really good terms right now.
Yes, Snape and Harry do not mix.
Yeah.
They've never been on good terms.
But now more so than ever.
Yes. Harry has done something to anger Snape even more, yes.
Yeah. And I'm thinking, okay, like this is Snape's chance to maybe redeem himself a little bit and move past the petty conflict that he has with young Mr. Harry Potter and be the stand-up dude that I want him to be. But at the same time, he can't be discovered to be part of the Order of the Phoenix, but at the same time, he doesn't really like Dumbridge. It all gets tricky and muddy really quickly.
Which I have to stop here and ask you. Did you remember that he was a part of the Order?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I'm hanging out on that thought. So.
All right.
So she wants the Veritas serum.
Mm-hmm.
She wants to get the truth out of Harry Potter. And I'm thinking, oh, Snape's going to give it up quickly. Turns out, he doesn't.
Yep.
And I was conflicted on how to feel. Was this Snape being truthful to her, saying, hey, I'm out of the serum, and it's going to take about a month for me to make this? Or was it Snape very... almost being kind of saving Harry Potter's butt here a little bit?
Do you really think you would do that?
I don't know.
Like, you said it right away. Like, Snape's going to give it to her. That's Snape, and I think you're right on there. That he would give it up, but he would give it to her if he had it. He doesn't care that much about Harry's secrets.
Right. I don't know. Does he? I don't know. I'm so conflicted on how to feel about Snape. Because every time I want to hate Snape, you telling me that he's your favorite character, like, plays through my mind. I'm like, there has to be something here. There has to be a reason why. Is this the reason? I don't know, Matt. I don't know. Regardless, Snape doesn't have any serum to give old Dumbridge. And she's all upset about it. Rightfully so. But, he was nice enough to offer that he could make her some. It'll just take about a month. Well, Dumbridge is pretty much at wit's end. She can't handle this charade anymore.
Yeah.
Snape goes to leave. Harry is like, I need to let him know what's going on. Some way, shape, or form without saying directly. So he throws out the Padfoot name. Snape kind of stops, and he's like... Then he doesn't really acknowledge it, and Dumbridge makes a big deal about it, and Snape's like, I don't know what he's talking about, and then leaves. Snape knows what he's talking about. He knows.
Does he?
I think so. He knows their nickname, right?
That's the question, is, like, that was the nickname of the Marauders. And it was kind of like their secret, their clubhouse, how the Marauders could reference themselves or their other forms without other people knowing about it, really.
Right.
And if you think back to Prisoner of Azkaban, when we meet the Marauders for the first time with the map, and Snape tries to figure out what the map is, and it starts insulting him. You remember this?
Yes, vaguely.
And I believe it uses those nicknames there. And at that point, at least, I always get the impression that Snape does not know who these people are.
That's true.
Now, this is 2 years later, and we kind of wonder if Dumbledore even knew those nicknames at that time. I think he's learned them since then, but now, like, it's 2 years later, the Order's back together, both Snape and Sirius are involved with it. He knows about the Animagus situation now, I'm pretty sure. Like, they've made a big deal about it within the Order. So, does Snape know now? Probably. But they still generally don't use the nicknames. So, is Snape smart enough to put two and two together if he had to, if no one told him directly? I think by this time, probably.
Yeah.
So he probably knows, but did he know, or was he told directly? That I guess is what I would question.
Yeah. I suspect that he knows. That's just a feeling.
We hope that he knows, or Harry hopes that he knows.
Yeah.
Like, I think Harry's kind of taking a gamble at this point, because I guess that's a better way of putting it. I don't think that it's guaranteed that Harry knows that Snape knows.
Right. We'll see. We will see. Then the most shocking thing that's happened in a long time happened.
Yeah?
Yeah. Dumbridge is done playing all of his games, and she's going to take matters into her own hand, regardless of what the Ministry may think of what she's about to do. And she's about to use the Cruciatus Curse on Harry.
That's what she says.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
We've seen her at least talk about taking extreme measures before. But I think what makes this even more surprising is that she didn't scribble it down on her clipboard and go back to Fudge and say, hey, I want to do this.
Right.
She just talks herself into it. And it's like, yeah, I'm done with Ministry. Let's go.
I can't handle this, man. This is too much. Too much emotions here. It was at this point where she announced that she was the one that ordered the Dementors to attack Harry during the summer. And everything's just kind of making sense.
Yeah. Did you catch the subtle one before that, too, is that it wasn't mentioned. It wasn't ever mentioned in the book before that she was actually trying to use Veritasium on Harry.
Right.
Like, you picked up on that, and you assumed that. But Snape coming in and mentioning that confirmed that I did give it to you, and you're only supposed to use a little bit of it, but you overdid it.
Yeah.
But yeah, then the Dementors thing, huge reveal. Huge.
Yeah.
Because that was one of those things, like, you had wondered about, but it's been, 600 pages since that happened?
Mm-hmm.
You forgot. You weren't questioning that anymore.
Right. Yeah.
Now to find out that she's the one that did it?
Didn't even cross my mind.
No.
I Fudge, if he had done it or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Total.
Because back then, like, she was there. She was, around, but she didn't have that same power back then.
Right.
She wasn't the High Inquisitor. She was just Fudge's right-hand man. Like, you always referred to her as, Fudge's yes man.
Yeah.
That's the only reason she was there, because Fudge needed someone on his side. She had other plans.
Yeah, it makes sense. It all makes sense now.
It definitely
She's been
does.
awful since before we knew, that she even existed.
Yeah.
So there's that. And then Hermione goes into the best trick ever played. Hermione comes through in the clutch, not using magic, not using, necessarily her wits, kind of her smarts, but, she's also taking advantage of the fact that Dumbridge is super naive and super eager to get information,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's the best way I could word it, was that, like, Hermione just plays into Umbridge's arrogance here. And she wants to be above everybody and know everything. Like, she just like, okay, fine, I will tell you, but only you.
Yeah. And she's like, oh, tell me more, please. Tell me everything. Yeah, the show that Hermione put on here was just fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the best part is, like, everybody else in the room is just stunned. It's like, wait, what are you doing? And then when she, like, starts talking and explaining, it's like, think I know where you're going with this, but where's Hermione?
Yeah. And I'm thinking, okay, Hermione is going to take her to go show her whatever she's lying about. She's saying that they have been building this weapon. The DA essentially has been building this weapon to use against her, and she's like, I knew it all along. And, she's kind of freaking out, and it's like, okay, like, where's this going to go? Like, what does Hermione have up her sleeve? Like, once they leave the room, they have to go somewhere. They have to show her something. What's it going to be, Matt?
That's the big question.
I don't know, because you made me stop reading. I can't believe the chapter ended like that, and I have to sit here for a week and just think about it.
Where could they be going?
I don't know.
Does Hermione have a plan?
I don't know. She gonna wing it? She gonna make it up as she goes?
I can think of a couple options, actually. So I'm really curious to know what you think, or if you have something in mind now, or what you can come up with.
Right now, I don't have anything.
Okay.
I'm still trying to process, like, the whole Sirius thing and the whole Hagrid thing, and now trying to process where they're going to go from here.
But I definitely think Hermione has a couple of options.
Yeah. I don't know, man. The room requirement sticks out, you know?
Sure.
Because the room would provide whatever the person needs.
And it is already closely tied to Dumbledore's army.
Yeah. So that's my first guess. Other than that, I don't know.
Okay.
But, yeah, I don't know. Maybe they will use Dumbridge to get into the Ministry of Magic and the Department of Mysteries. Like, she would have the clearance to get in there.
Sure.
That's a stretch, though.
Is it?
A little bit, yeah. Because then Dumbridge would have to ask, well, how is the weapon in there if you guys have been at Hogwarts all year? You know?
If they were working in connection with Dumbledore, though.
Yeah.
Like, Dumbledore is capable of many, many things.
Yeah. I don't think Dumbridge believes that, though.
She doesn't believe what?
That Dumbridge is capable of extraordinary things.
Wait, Dumbledore, you mean?
That's what I said.
You said Dumbridge.
I meant Dumbledore.
Okay, that's why I had to clarify.
Yeah.
Makes a little bit of difference.
Dumbridge does not believe in the full power of Dumbledore and what he's able to do.
Okay.
So. I could just sit here and be mad and yell at you about this cliffhanger all night, but I feel like we would be better served if we just went to emails right now and calm me down a little bit.
All right. We can try to do that. Before we get too far, though, I do want to bring up I am working on getting the reading schedule back up on the website for those who are interested, but for those who stop listening here, especially next week, 3 chapters. Chapter 33, 34, and 35. All right.
3 chapters.
3 chapters.
They better be good chapters, Matt.
I certainly think they are.
Yeah.
But we've had difference of opinion before, so.
That's true.
Let's see here. First email comes from Noah.
Hi, Noah.
It says, hey, Matt and Josh. Chapter 32 has so much more drama going on than 31, but I really need to talk about Hermione and her Testzilla moments. I absolutely hated students that freaked out around tests, and even more those who tried to compare our answers after the test is over. So every time I see that side of Hermione, I have to remind myself that she's like that because she cares so intensely about everything. There's no middle with Hermione. If it's spew, grades, her friends, and strangers as well. I mean, the first thing we learned about her, that when she was 11, on her first trip to Hogwarts, she was the only one to help a miserable-looking stranger to look for his lost toad Trevor on the train. So even though at some points I wanted to shake her a little bit, I can't help but appreciate the passion of her for everything she does. I love you. I love you, Hermione. And I'm sure there are going to be many emails about the rest of the things that happen, so I'll stop here. All I have to say is, how dare she? Speaking of Umbridge.
Yeah, I hope so.
Hurt both Fang and McGonagall. I hate her as much I hate her as much as Hermione is panicking over the tests. Probably more. Definitely more. And then finally, attached a photo of my 5th book. It was my favorite for a long time, and that fact definitely took a toll on him. So I have to share this with you. I have a little bit of an explanation here.
Okay.
But it's one of these things that just makes sense, but I don't think about it. And you'll see what I mean in a minute.
Okay.
There's one picture.
Okay.
So you obviously recognize the cover, right?
Uh-huh.
But what do you notice about it?
It's it looks like it's read from right to left.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is in Hebrew.
Hebrew, huh?
Yeah. So Noah, I believe, is our friend. He might be writing from Israel, I think. So yeah, like it's one of those things. Like I was saying, I know these books are translated into many, many languages, but never think about how different they actually are.
Right.
And that Hebrew books, like, because it looks like the cover opens the other way. So if I see that on the shelf, I'm going to open it the wrong way. I'd be really confused. But I suppose if I could read Hebrew, it'd make a lot more sense. And he did try to give me a pronunciation key here. I'm going to slaughter it, but the title says Harry Potter, the Mizdar of O.W.L.S. Of course, I can't read Hebrew, so that means nothing to me. But there you go.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Noah.
But yeah, you can see
that
was
book is
very
in distress.
Yeah, very well used book, as you see in the second picture there. And I just love that there's so much tape on there trying to hold it together.
Yeah.
Didn't just throw that one away, just kept on reading it. Love it. Next email then comes from Sylvie.
Hi, Sylvie.
Says, hey, Matt and Josh. Looks like things are definitely picking up at Hogwarts. This is the start of the events that make Book 5 my favorite. I know you guys will probably get a ton of emails, so I'll try to be succinct. A few thoughts on the owls. I love how many throwbacks J.K. puts into these exams. Hermione fussing about cheering charms was a nice callback to Book 3 when she forgot to go to charms class after hitting Malfoy. And the nod to the troll encounter and the polyjuice potion were also cool little bits of nostalgia. I love Harry's happy thought of Umbridge being sacked when he conjures his Patronus during the defense against the Dark Arts practical exam. It may just be my favorite of all Harry's Patronus moments. Do you think the examiners have some way of ensuring perfect weather for a nighttime astronomy practical exam? It'd be kind of challenging to write that exam on a cloudy night.
That would be tough, right? I would think that they have some... No, wait, can they control the weather? They probably can't control the weather. Can
they? That's kind of a gray area, I think. Like, that almost feels like too much power.
Yeah.
I think... Maybe, okay, so if it's just like clouds, maybe they could like cause a great wind to come and blow them away or something like that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I could also see them rescheduling that. Like it's the only outdoor exam that relies on weather cooperating. It's the only one at night. Like I think they could reschedule it if they had to.
Right.
So...
Could the centaurs control the weather? I feel like they might have some weird ability to do so.
A little more connection with nature.
Yeah, because they feel all high and mighty, and having that connection with the weather would definitely boost them up a little bit like that.
Seeing as, they're always looking up at the sky to predict things. Like, if it was cloudy, what are they going to do all night?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could see that. Now on to the big issues. I am always furious when Umbridge tries to have Hagrid arrested in the middle of the night. What are the charges? Nice to see that she underestimates the strength of this so-called dangerous half-breed, though. The fact that he beats them all barehanded when it's 6-on-1 is so satisfying. However, the attack on Professor McGonagall is completely unacceptable and absolutely disgusting. I also remember being shocked when Harry sees Sirius trapped and tortured in the Department of Mysteries. How did Voldemort get to him? Harry is understandably panicked, but I appreciate Hermione's attempt to slow him down and check that Sirius is actually gone before tearing off to London. Umbridge really shows her true colors when she catches them in her office. I knew she was bad, but sending Dementors to attack a child and later trying to use the Cruciatus Curse to torture information out of him, what a twisted and truly evil old witch. Thankfully, Hermione can think on her feet and skillfully manipulates Umbridge into following her somewhere. Where do you think she's leading her? Also, bless Neville and Luna for helping, even when they don't fully understand what's going on. Those two warm my heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Next email then comes from one of our headmistresses, Marissa.
Hi, Marissa.
Got a fairly early one in this week. Although, well, no. I just didn't get as many during the week. That's what it is. She sent this today. Never mind. Can't give her that much credit. So, hello, boys. I was disappointed that Josh didn't go into a long-winded tirade about the Easter holiday on the last episode.
Oh.
I was sure he would have fascinating thoughts about it. Also, Matt mentioned something about his friend telling him that the Lord of the Rings is a bunch of walking with stops to talk, sleep, eat, or all of the above. Having just finished the Fellowship of the Ring for the first time ever, he's not wrong. Yeah, I understand. Poor Ron, having to come down from his high of helping Gryffindor win the cup is in such a terrible fashion. He's about as fed up with Hagrid's shenanigans as Hermione is, and he's finally showing some regard for his education since he reiterates that Harry is about one broken rule away from getting expelled. We got a lot of exam talk in this first chapter, which didn't leave a lot of room for plot development, but we did get a couple of things. Another Niffler gets into Umbridge's room, and we know who's been doing it. Of course it's Lee. You didn't think Fred and George would leaving would cause him to stop whatever role he played in the mischief at Hogwarts, did you? She says, a note on Nifflers. We were talking about last week when we talked about a hairy snouted Niffler last week. She says it wasn't capitalized. The H and the S were not capitalized. I think it was just descriptive, not indicating a different subdivision of the species.
Why are you ruining my dreams of subspecies of Nifflers?
Headmistress, that's what she's here for.
I guess so. Yeah, she's allowed to.
The nighttime stroll taken by Umbridge and some ministry cronies can never end well. Sneaking up on Hagrid in order to fire him, that won't go over well. And then they stun Fang. And then they fire 4 stunning spells straight at McGee. My anger at Umbridge, which was boiling below the surface until that point, turned into the white-hot anger of 1,000 suns. I am with Harry on wanting revenge, but nothing seems commiserate with her crimes. And then the dream again. Except it's different. Sirius is being tortured? How did he get all the way over to the Ministry of Magic, not to mention inside it, without someone seeing something? And really, the next chapter is mostly about kids arguing about it and then going to check if Sirius is still at number 12. And then Umbridge busts in and admits to setting the Dementors on Harry, trying to use Veritas Theorem during their little chat, and was willing to use an unforgivable curse on a student. Does Josh have any idea what Hermione is doing here at the end of the chapter? What's she going to try to pass off as a weapon?
I don't know.
I know.
Another Niffler.
Don't you think Lee's out of him, though?
The rumor requirement could manifest whatever it wants.
Okay. I'll give you that one. Next email from the other Katie.
Other Katie, what's up?
She says, aloha, Matt and Josh. I don't have much to say about the last discussion other than this. I agree with Josh. Why on earth hasn't someone told Harry exactly why he's supposed to be learning occlumency? And if learning is so important, why has Snape been allowed to stop the lessons? I do have a lot of thoughts about this week's, though. I always feel bad for Ron when he learns that Harry and Hermione weren't at the Quidditch match, but he rebounds well and takes the news about Grawp in stride. You see, a few people have mentioned, like, Ron didn't act how they thought he would.
Yeah.
And, like,
he does. He starts to get super angry about it until Hermione finally breaks down and tells him why. Like, once you get through that story of why, of like, you just get hooked on this giant, it's like, oh, huh, I guess there's something bigger going on. No pun intended.
Honestly, though, like, I feel like Ron reacted in the exact way that I expected him to. Like,
yeah,
this is the 5th year. Like, of all the things that have happened to them up until this point, especially all the things with Hagrid, is it really that surprising at this point?
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's not that surprising, but I don't know. Ron's reaction is... It's hard to gauge where he was gonna go with it exactly and how he would have reacted because of the interjection.
Right.
So you could say I could see people going either way with it, saying it's how I expect him to react, and why didn't he react bigger, or why wasn't he more upset? I don't know.
He was still riding the high from Quidditch, and I think he's kind of used to things like this happening.
Yeah.
You know.
Anyway, the black market of Hogwarts has returned. I wonder what else you can get on the black market. I have a feeling Fred and George probably had a strong hand in that black market while they were there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. But I did like the reference to black market butterbeer. I'd be buying that left and right.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. It's pretty terrifying to think that these owls dictate what a student can do with the rest of their lives. For the most part, I find them similar to taking AP exams, but those only help you with college credits, not necessarily what jobs you can get after school. I guess I've never really thought about it like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of dictates what you can do after school, because it's the owl that leads to the newt.
Yeah, it starts the path, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, I can see where you're coming from, but I have to think there's ways around that. Like, there has to be like a test you could pass as an adult if you've learned more after school.
Right.
But yeah. Who knows? I really appreciate the humor written into these exams. I actually laughed out loud a few times while I was listening to the audiobook. The notes I took while listening to the chapter simply said, "Oh no, Hagrid," and "Oh no, McGonagall." This scene is terrible for so many reasons. Harry is understandably distraught by what he saw in his dream. Weren't you supposed to be learning occlumency, Harry? I have a question about the owls and how many a student can earn. In the 4th book, Mr. Crouch is bragging about his son, how he earned 12 owls. Mr. Crouch may have been out of his mind, but it's also mentioned that Percy and Bill Weasley also earned 12 owls. We know that during the 3rd book, Hermione had to use the time turner in order to take all 12 available classes, and only after dropping two classes was she able to have a normal schedule. So did Barty Crouch Jr., Percy, and Bill also use time turners? I feel like that would have been mentioned at some point in book book 3 if that were true.
You would think so, right?
You would think so.
Yeah.
But like you would think Ron at least would have some idea. Like if 2 of his brothers had used a time turner, like he might have some idea of what's going on with Hermione. So there's a couple theories out there. I mean, so there is a theory that they were among the brightest and best, and McGonagall could have gotten them time turners as well, like she did for Hermione. I'm not really on board with that one.
Okay.
That seems a little too out there. There's the theory that perhaps, for whatever reason, it was during Hermione's year, there were just scheduling conflicts.
Mm-hmm.
But that begs the question, if there weren't scheduling conflicts in the past, why did they change the schedule? It's not like they add classes every year or something like that. Or, I mean, they change teachers a little bit, but I think they usually have the same amount of teachers. It's not like one teacher has to double up on a class, so they can't be scheduled at the same time, or I don't know. I'm not really a fan of that one either.
Yeah, I see that.
The other theory, as we see in this chapter with the owls, is that most classes, not all of them, like History of Magic, only has a written test, right? It doesn't have a practical section. But many of the other subjects have both a written and a practical. And the theory is that you get graded individually on the written and individually on the practical, and each of them could count as an owl. So potentially you could take as few as like 6 classes and get 12 owls.
That makes sense.
That makes the most sense to me.
Yeah.
That seems the most reasonable. Like, sure, you can say Bill and Percy were great students, top of the class, head boy, prefect, all those type of things. But it just seems too I don't know, too odd to have so many people, especially from one family, to get all the owls. If there are only 12 to get, that they would get all 12 of them.
Yeah.
I think it makes more sense that there's 12 classes, and if you take, 7 or 8 of them, that if some of them have, written and practical, getting 12 is a lot easier that way, I think.
This is why we need separate stories, Matt. Spin-offs. Fanfic. Fill in these weird gaps of information.
Probably explains it in Hogwarts of History.
Probably.
Yeah.
Does Hogwarts of History just keep getting updated, like, magically, year after year?
I would hope so.
Like, is someone actually writing Hogwarts history? Or is it, like, a magical book that, like, as events take place in Hogwarts, new chapters get added to the end of the book every year?
Well, someone's definitely writing it. It has an author.
Does it? Maybe an original author, but, like, I'm not dismissing the possibility of a magical book that writes itself.
Well, I wouldn't say the book writes itself, but I could see it being someone's writing. They could be writing from their home, and it just magically gets added to the book. Like whatever this paper that they're writing on is enchanted, that whatever they write on this paper gets added to the book.
Mm-hmm.
I could totally see that.
Interesting.
Anyway, Katie continues. I always get upset with Harry in this chapter. Everyone around him is trying to help him, and he's just lashing out. I know he's frightened of what he saw, but to go in without a plan seems like a bad idea. And Hermione's right. Harry does have a saving people thing. It's not a bad thing. It's just a true thing.
It's a Harry thing.
Yes. Ginny, Luna, and Neville have been roped into this mess. A second trio is being formed, and I love it. Umbridge is being horrible and threatening to use an unforgivable curses on Harry. That's a step too far, even for her. Although maybe it isn't. After all, she did send the Dementors. At least Hermione has a plan, hopefully. I had forgotten that this chapter ends so abruptly. Yeah. Once again, most of us didn't have to stop at the end of a chapter.
No.
We could have to keep reading. So
yeah, you just flip the page.
We didn't really care so much where chapters ended.
Nope, didn't matter. Just keep going.
Yep.
Not
JK
me.
JK wrote this book for you, Josh.
Sometimes I think so, Matt. Sometimes I think so. And then she goes and omits a very obvious giant squid reference, and then I question everything.
All right. Next email then also comes from a Katie.
Hello, Katie.
And this may be the other Katie.
Too many.
Scary.
Yeah.
It says, I'm a new listener who is fully caught up on listening.
Oh, okay.
I've wanted to write in for ages, but I didn't really want to be a time traveler.
Katie the Fourth.
My name is Caitlin Grace, and I'm 15 from Scotland.
Ooh.
There you go.
Okay.
She's a Gryffindor, but she always saw herself as a Hufflepuff, so I like to say that I'm a Griffinpuff.
I like it.
And as many others have said, now that I'm caught up, I'm dreading waiting for new content. In response to something that was said on a previous podcast, at the start of the second movie, Harry shoves Dobby into the wardrobe when Uncle Vernon is coming upstairs to see what all the noise is about. When it's clear, Harry opens the door to let Dobby out, and he walks out with a sock on his ear. While Harry is speaking to him, he takes the sock off his ear, smells it, and proceeds to chuck it on the floor. I think that this tells us that they have to be given clothing by their master to be set free, rather than being set free just by touching a piece of clothing. So I think that when the Hogwarts house elves refuse to clean the Gryffindor common room, it's out of disgust and not out of fear that they will accidentally be set free. However, this is only in the movie, so I wouldn't trust it. It's a thought. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think we kind of, questioned whether or not Hermione was enough of a master in the first place to set them free even. So
Right.
Like I kind of always figure like Dumbledore hired them, so Dumbledore has to be the one to set them free. Anyway.
Yep.
Continues now. I know that Josh will not like what I'm about to say, so this is your warning.
All right, I'm bracing myself.
A fortnight ago, I went on a walk, and I was too early for my school bus. I've walked the same way for 3 years, but I was early, so I took a little detour through some posh houses. I call them posh because they all had placards with names on them. I'll give an example in a minute.
Okay.
I don't know if this is common in different countries, but I've never seen this before. Now, onto the bit that Josh will not like. I was walking along, looking at the names, while listening to Josh rant on about the professor who shall not be named, when I saw a familiar name.
Oh, no. Don't say it.
That name shall not be spoken. Nope. Not Mr. Voldy. The other one.
Oh, boy. Yep.
But don't worry. We have a picture here for you.
Oh, there's a picture included. That's the part I'm not going to like.
That's just fabulous, though. She says, I literally laughed out loud and had to take this picture and send it in. As this book takes place in the 1990s, I think that after the Professor Who Shall Not Be Named was released from St. Mungo's, he decided to retire to this very house. This totally plays into his character, as he obviously would have his house named after himself. Thanks for making my boring / awkward moments better.
He totally would name his house after himself.
He would.
Yeah.
He would. All right. Next email then comes from Brent.
Hi, Brent.
Okay. Hey, Matt and the Muggle. Muggle. We need to have a talk.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Okay.
You sure did a whole lot of self-back-patting last week.
What?
About your most recent Muggle theories.
I thought that was pretty humble.
Mysteriously once again proving to be correct. I'm not accusing you or Val of any shenanigans. I'm just saying the sheer amount of time you spent putting that theory together. My 5-year-old could have figured it out by then. Next time, if you really want to impress us, put out Muggle theories when the mystery first comes up.
Here's the thing. With these books, it's incredibly hard to pick up on how long a thing is going to be a mystery for. You know, sometimes they could get resolved in the next chapter. Sometimes, like tonight, for example, I was all ready to do a Muggle theories on who put the Niffler in Dumbridge's office. And then 10 pages later, it was resolved, you know?
Yep.
So it's incredibly tough, you know? It really is. And sometimes there just isn't... There's subjects that I don't think about too much. I don't care about too much. I don't have predictions about. Or some things there's just not enough anything there for me to even know if it is a mystery worth putting time into.
I think his point with this one is Hagrid's injuries have been around for a long time. We've brought them up multiple times. The JK has brought them up multiple times.
Sure.
And you just left them alone till, well, luckily the week before it actually was resolved.
I was actually, to be completely fair, going to do it the week before that.
And I think you mentioned that in the episode.
Yeah,
but you held off
because I wasn't sure if they were going to address it or not. And okay, let's all be real here. The middle of this book kind of bored me into submission to where I wasn't thinking too much about it in extracurricular ways.
Yeah.
So.
Anyway, Brent continues. Matt, we need to have a talk. Really? Seriously? That's the chapter break you chose for this week? How very Slytherin of you. You ain't right, dude.
I believe he expressed his similar sentiments on Twitter as well.
Yeah, I think he wanted to make sure everybody heard.
Yeah. Yep.
Yes, Brent. That is what I do.
Yeah. And again, it was all set up from the start.
Oh, yeah. That's been in the works for a long time.
Yep.
There'll be a few more of those to come, I'm sure. Next email comes from Rihanna.
Hi, Rihanna.
Hey, guys. Can't believe it's Monday already. First off, it feels wrong not to mention what a somber day it has been due to the Vegas shooting. I'm praying for all involved. With this week's reading, I just had a few thoughts. I'm so sad for McGonagall. It's so messed up to fight 5-on-1. Think about it. Even Voldemort himself thus far has not done that. He always fights 1-on-1. That is an interesting thought.
Yeah.
He's even had his entire army of Death Eaters there. And no, he wants to fight 1-on-1. He won't let him do it. Another messed up thing, Umbridge was super close to using the torture curse on Harry. And then later when Malfoy says he wants to come see the weapon, she says something to the effect of, it's not fit for children to see. So in her opinion, it was fit for them to witness torture. Sick woman.
Mm-hmm. Big time.
And Josh, Muggle prediction time. What the heck is Hermione on about with Umbridge at the end of the chapter?
Just the room and requirement. There we go.
All right.
It makes sense.
You know what the people want.
Yeah, I know. Let me think on it. If I come up with anything else in the week before I read, then you guys will definitely know about it.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Next email comes from Joe.
Hi, Joe.
Says, hey guys, greetings and salutations. So we're now on the fast track towards the end of the book. These chapters, to me, are like the climax of Umbridge's horrendousness. I've never hated her as much as I do these chapters, and that's saying a lot. I can totally see Josh thinking the first chapter was very boring, outside of the two big events that happened. But before I get ahead of myself, let's start at the beginning. I'm shocked at how well Ron took Harry and Hermione not being there. More so because Ron seems the type to take something like that to heart. Harry and Ron looking for brain stimulants? If only they had a nice hot cup of coffee to drink.
That's not a brain stimulant.
Yeah.
That'd just get them all wired and excitable, and, it'd probably do worse at that point. Science, Joe. Science.
There you go. Hermione's saying that Hermione says that she got an arithmancy owl, and that it might be the toughest subject. Had got me thinking. What exactly is arithmancy? Was it ever explained? When I see it, I think arithmetic, but I think everyone would have to take math if it was a subject. So I'm not really sure. Josh, do you remember this?
I don't.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure I've at least talked with you about it. I want to say we brought it up on the show before. So, arithmancy, you are right with the root. That arith part definitely has to do with numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. So, if you go with Wiki's definition of it, in modern numerological terminology, arithmancy is a form of divination based on assigning numerical value to a word or phrase by means of a simplified version of ancient Greek or Hebrew as adapted to the Latin alphabet.
Okay.
So it's divination through numbers, if that makes sense.
Okay.
It's heavily so it's not math class as you think of math.
Yeah.
But numbers are heavily involved, and yeah, they're still trying to essentially tell the future.
Yeah.
Or predict things.
Interesting.
So,
okay.
Yeah. See. I love the fact that Hagrid was throwing down with his fists instead of using a wand. I didn't know he couldn't be stunned because of his giant's blood. I'm sure it still got hurt, though. Hagrid's got to be pretty tough. Speaking of tough, McGonagall getting hit by 4 spells and thankfully surviving, I give her credit for getting involved and standing up for Hagrid, but I thought she was dead when she first got hit.
Yeah.
I think you're supposed to think that.
Yeah.
She just kind of falls over.
I immediately thought the same thing, but I was like, no, there's not enough fanfare behind that. If McGonagall were to get killed, I would expect there to be a little bit more to it. You know what I mean? That would have been.
I mean, because you've always talked about okay, is so-and-so really dead? And it's no, Harry has to, view all the major deaths, I think is kind of how you put it.
Yes.
This is Harry's story, so if a major death is going to happen, he's going to see it.
Right. And she was so far away, and he was, barely able to see it type of thing. It just...
Yeah.
It didn't feel right that it would have happened in that circumstance. It would have been a shock, but I feel like it wouldn't have been good for the story. It would have been a shock just for shock value. And I think JK is above that as a writer.
Yeah, and McGonagall has become too big of a character to have it happen like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it was some character we had just met 2 chapters ago, and we've been interacting for these past 2 chapters, but then they died in that fashion, that'd be more what you're expecting.
Right. Grubbly Plank going out like that? Sure. Okay.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
McGonagall? No way. No way.
I always get a little confused when they transition to the dream or vision because it's like 1 second you're in reality, and next he's running down a dark hallway. It's like, what? This one was a little different because he made it further than he ever did, but now he sees Sirius being tortured by Voldemort. How did Voldemort capture Sirius? Was Sirius out of Grimmauld Place? And why would he be? Lots of questions. How dare Hermione try to use something so detestable as logic and reasoning? But could she be right?
Maybe.
I don't know. I love everything about Luna in this scene also, and how well, as well, how Harry swears and ignores her. Umbridge finally catches Harry in the act and fetches Snape to get the truth out of him. And because she's a buffoon that can't follow the directions, she puts Snape on probation. And then expects Snape to answer who Padfoot is. Umbridge frustrates me so much. Yet that just proves how well written her character is.
Yeah.
Smart thinking by Harry though to let Snape know what's going on. Yeah. Then she's going to torture him. Really? And she admits to being the one that sent Dementors after Harry? This girl is crazy. She needs to be in prison. Hermione, with what looks like some bad acting, yet believable to Umbridge, creates this elaborate story. But what's she going to do now? Where is she going to take her? We will hopefully find out soon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh no, we'll see.
Next email.
Umbridge is so naive, man. She
is.
She thinks she's the smartest one in the room, and she's really not.
Mm-mm. Not at all.
Yeah.
And that's what I was getting to. Like, Hermione understands this, I think, and works it against her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And she goes right along with it.
Exactly. Next email then comes from Hannah.
Hi, Hannah.
It says, hi, Matt and Josh. First, I just wanted to say how much I love Mel B and her love for the Marauders. I could also talk about them for hours, and Sirius is one of my very favorite characters in the series. Often when I get into conversations with other Potter fans, I hear people criticize them pretty harshly and characterize Sirius and James as rash, arrogant, horrible bullies, and characterize Sirius, in particular, as an irresponsible godfather to Harry. This makes me so frustrated, as there is so much more to them than just this scene in the Pensieve. Listening to both of you and then also hearing Mel's emails is like balm to my soul. As someone who is a staunch defender of the Marauders, it feels so good to have someone who understands my love for the three greatest Marauders, despite their flaws. So thanks to both you and Mel B for that. And now, for the present chapters.
Dun, dun, dun.
I thoroughly enjoyed the exams, learning about how far they've come and also the funny mistakes they make, as well as Hermione going crazy with anxiety. This and then Luna and Ginny later on are the brightest parts of the dark couple of chapters. And then we get our first look at astronomy, and it turns into quite the horror. The Rotten Toad brings a posse of people to Hagrid's cabin in the dead of night. Why? We know Dawlish is there, who's an Auror, and later Ron makes a comment along the lines of at least they didn't get to take him to Azkaban. Was she going to fire him and needed a team to escort him off the premises? Was there something much more sinister going on? And then the fight breaks out. Everyone attempts to stun Hagrid at once. They stun Fang. They are clearly trying to take Hagrid away, and all that would have been bad enough on its own. But then one of our heroes and champions of the school, Minerva McGonagall, is taken down with 4 stunners at once. How dare they? This bodes very ill for Hogwarts and its students. I only hope she's okay. And then Umbridge reaches a point of evil that somehow I thought even she wouldn't get to. It's only Voldemort and his Death Eaters who would ever use the unforgivable curses to torture, right? And she especially wouldn't use them on children, right? Wrong. Snape sneers and turns his back on the students, and she starts to perform the curse designed to cause unspeakable pain on a 15-year-old. The last time Harry received this curse was in the graveyard and at the hands of Voldemort. Now it's at the hands of Professor, someone working for the Ministry and at Hogwarts that's supposed to be a safe place. The saying, "the enemy of my enemy is my friend," comes to mind. In aligning themselves against Harry, Dumbledore and the Order, against Harry, Dumbledore, and the Order, the Ministry have unwittingly become effective allies of Voldemort's mission. What makes Umbridge so evil and so hated above all other villains is how realistic she is. Saying she is doing the right thing for the right reasons while her actions are horrific, and more so as they are done under the guise of morality. Now the question is, what is Hermione up to? Where is she leading Harry and Umbridge? And will they make it to the series on time?
I'm still not 100% sure Sirius is in danger. Secondly, I think everybody's giving Hermione maybe a little too much credit. Like, she is, I feel like, just kind of winging it at this point. She's making it up as she goes. Yeah. Not to say that she's not going to be exceptional at it, and she'll do an amazing job at doing so, but I just don't think that, like, this whole time she was standing there thinking of a plan. She just, like, I need to create a distraction right now, and then she's just kind of playing off of that and seeing where it goes.
Fair enough. Just finish off with Josh. Brace yourself. It's about to get real very quickly, even more than it already has.
Mm-hmm. I believe it.
Next email comes from Caitlin.
Hi, Caitlin.
Says, "Dear Josh and Matt, it's been a long day already, so let's get to it. Notes from last week. I always felt that if Lupin had told Harry about his connection to his parents during the third year, their relationship would have been much stronger and more like Harry and Sirius. Why do you think Remus decided to keep Harry at bay? Was he just trying to keep somewhat professional distance from him?"
Maybe.
Honestly, I think that's most of it.
Yeah, probably.
Like, it was that professor-student relationship. Like, that's the first time they met.
Yeah.
He didn't want to start off with saying, "Hey, I'm your buddy, I'm your pal, and now let me teach you." He wanted to be that teacher first. He didn't want to give Harry any special treatment or anything, or Harry to expect any special treatment either.
Yeah. Also, he didn't want to like pile on a whole bunch of new emotions.
Also true.
You know, he was a young kid. You know, let him ease into that a little bit.
I was super curious after someone wrote in about the site that tells you your Patronus and its meaning, and I thought I'd share ours. She also has the dolphin like you.
Okay, nice.
She says, intelligence and sociability are among the main attributes of the dolphin. Also known for their playfulness and loyalty, dolphins live and work together in groups to aid the sick and injured and to defend each other from predators. Its incredible intelligence is put to good use in the form of solving complex problems and other such challenges. The dolphin does not enjoy dull, routine activities, so keeping busy with interesting tasks is a must.
That I totally understand.
I just say
that's me in a nutshell.
Fits in very well. Yeah. Get rid of these dull, boring exams.
Mm-hmm.
Give me action.
Yep.
Got it. Fun fact about Patronuses. A friend of mine took the quiz for fun. He's not really into Harry Potter. And got a rumpet.
A what?
You remember them?
No.
I believe we met them in Fantastic Beasts.
I probably know like a fifth of the names of all the creatures in that movie.
Yeah. So this is the big thing, like
the rhino hippo,
rhino looking thing. Yeah, okay. That he dances for.
Yeah.
That's the rumpet.
Okay. Again, every time Newt said one of the names of the creatures, his accent is so thick. I just have a hard time.
Yeah, she says, I think that's about as cool as it gets for a Patronus.
Yeah, I'm kind of jealous of that one.
Yeah. Lastly, in my defense, I'm not reading ahead. I'm just watching ahead. I'm leaving in a week, so I've rewatched all of Harry Potter. I'm in the process of the Hobbit trilogy, as well as finishing up a quick rewatch of Game of Thrones. Anyway, on to tonight's chapters. Hearing Ernie compare his studying to others has forcefully reminded me of my past 4 years at college, where every week during midterms and exams was spent in the library with friends, not really doing work and stressing about all the work that's not being done, while talking about everything that needs to be done and comparing your stress levels to others. It's a horribly unhealthy atmosphere, and I'm glad to be rid of it.
I don't blame you.
Aging moves at a glacial pace once you hit 60 or 70 years old as a magical person. For instance, let's assume that Dumbledore is around 100, making Griselda Marchbanks a good 20 years older. That puts her well beyond the prime of her life. Do you think wizards use spells or potions, or do they just naturally have longer lifespans than humans?
I feel like they have a combination of both.
I would agree for the most part. I think it has been stated officially that they do naturally live longer than humans, or I guess Muggles in particular. But you just look at what Madame Pomfrey is doing.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime you get sick or injured or anything,
right,
you're healed most of the time, like overnight. And so being able to get rid of those things taking a toll on your body
exactly
is going to help you live that much longer.
The normal illnesses and ailments that would normally age you, what we would refer to as a normal aging process, is pretty much eliminated, all but eliminated. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love how accidental magic seems to grow in weirdness and capability the older they get. Instead of just vanishing a pane of glass and regrowing hair, we see mutated mushroom plates and flocks of flamingos.
That was pretty good.
Yeah. The accidental magical reversal squad must have some seriously hilarious stories. Nothing but evil thoughts and curses for the old toad. Poor McGonagall. Poor Hagrid. Poor Fang. It's just absolutely horrible. I cannot wait for her comeuppance. Or is she going to wreak havoc for the next 2 books as well?
Hope not. I can't. I can't deal with her for another 2 books, Matt.
I think your theory is no, because she's a Defense Against Dark Arts teacher.
Right. I mean, she'll be gone as Defense Against Dark Arts teacher. I guarantee that.
But she could still be in the series.
She could be. Yeah.
Working for the Ministry.
Yeah. Yeah. But in an ideal world, she's gone. But that's not going to happen.
All right.
That's being way too optimistic about the last 2 of these books. So,
thank God for Hermione, who once again saves the day, or at least the scene. I love her subtle manipulation of Umbridge's worst fears. She's much smarter and savvier than your average 16-year-old. So, Josh, any predictions for next week, or what this Dumbledore weapon is? Maybe you can sleep on it and dream, and a dream will let you know what's in store.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what kind of dream sequences I come up with tonight, because I just read the books tonight, so I haven't had one night of rest since bringing all this in. I haven't had time to really digest it all, folks.
And finally, she says, we'll finish this off with something fun. Here's a picture of me and my sister FaceTiming, Trivial Pursuiting with a Star Wars game board and Harry Potter movie trivia. Nothing quite beats game night, not even long distances. So we can send you that picture as well.
Let's see that.
Give you something happy to go out on.
Ah, very nice.
Our next email then comes in from Chelsea.
Hi, Chelsea.
Says, hey guys, I had a busy week and weekend, so I haven't been able to read yet, but I still had something to email about. I have to brag about my fiance. Last week was my birthday on the 28th.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday indeed. And he got me all the Harry Potter presents. He did pretty good for knowing nothing about Harry Potter. He's not much of a reader and has never watched the movies. I know. I'm working on it.
Okay.
Even though he hasn't accepted the Harry Potter life yet, he respects the love that I have for it. I attached a picture, and I think we'll send this to you quickly and then run through it.
Okay. See, he's already farther ahead than I was. Like, I don't even know if I really gave Harry Potter the respect many people would have liked before I even started this whole thing.
Sure. So, let's see.
Okay.
He got me my very own laminated Hogwarts acceptance letter.
Everybody needs one.
Yep. A Hedwig lunchbox that says Gryffindor on the bottom.
Lunchbox.
A Harry Potter.
Okay.
A Harry Potter pillowcase, and the unofficial Harry Potter cookbook. When I saw the lunchbox, I told him I was impressed that he got the right house. And he said, "Oh, that's a thing?" Got lucky there. Again, he's a work in progress.
Yeah. See,
I have to say
he needs to be a little bit smoother. He was trying to say, "Yeah, of course I did, babe."
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Hey, at least he was honest about it.
I guess so.
I'll give him that.
Sure.
I'd have to say the most interesting thing was the cookbook. It clearly states that JK has nothing to do with this book, but every recipe refers to some time the characters encountered the dish. It clearly cites the books as well. In the back, there's even an index to look up the different dishes and characters. For example, you can look up recipes specifically made by Mrs. Weasley or Hagrid. The recipes are mainly all of British origin, as the cookbook states that it's a way for readers to gain another experience of Harry Potter's world. Stay tuned for how these recipes turned out.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Because I've seen that book and I was very
exactly
about it.
I've seen that book many times, and yeah, I've never picked it up, but it'll be interesting to see how that turns out. Next email comes in from Taryn.
Hi, Taryn.
It says, hey guys, I don't have a whole lot to contribute this week, except say that I hope the dream finally got exciting for you, Josh.
In all the worst ways?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She says, I haven't seen the Muggle Notes yet, but I have my fingers crossed. Actually, there is one more thing. I'm in college right now, graduating in May. And yes, I'll tell you what I'm going for. Although I'm sure you'd love the suspense.
Dun, dun, dun.
She is studying deaf studies.
What?
To become a sign language interpreter.
Oh, deaf.
Deaf, yes. D-E-A-F.
I heard death. TH, I said.
Like dying? Yeah, no.
I mean, that could have gone many different ways, Matt.
Josh, open your ears.
I'm trying, Matt. I'm trying. Enunciate with your Wisconsin accent. Deaf studies. Okay.
Deaf studies, yes.
All right.
I absolutely love it, and I'm so excited to finally be able to make it my career. But there's a catch. In order to become a certified interpreter, you have to take a test.
Okay.
A long, stressful, multi-part test. And yes, I'm already thinking about it, even though it won't be happening until next year. I've been okay with it lately, just going about my business and getting school stuff done. But reading about Harry's experience with the owls nearly induced a panic attack, because I'm pretty sure that's what it's going to be like for me. Nothing earth-shattering, just a little fun connection between Harry and real life. Getting closer to finishing this slag of a book, according to my owl post. And I'm really anxious to see how Josh feels about the ending, along with everyone else who's listening, I'm sure. Should be a good one.
We'll see.
We will. We're getting close. What do we say? 3 weeks and we're done with this book?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Not too much long. Before the end of the month. There you go. Next email comes from our other headmistress. Also been mentioned in a few emails already. Yes. Hello, Matt and Josh. I feel so loved for my email being read at the start of the episode last week.
Aww.
Thank you so much. As much as you appreciate what I do for you, I appreciate your show and your dedication. A note on schooling and exams. When I was in school, we had the school certificate in year 10, after which we could leave school. This was usually the route of people who were going into a trade already. And then in year 12, we had the higher school certificate, which you needed to complete if you wanted to go to university. Year 11 was essentially a year of preparation for year 12 and the higher school certificate. So there you go. That's what I was talking about. I thought it was weird that there's a gap between 5 and 7, but apparently, well, I'm going to go ahead and say Australia probably gets it from Britain, so maybe it's the same over there too. And it's just us Americans that don't do it that way.
We don't do things normal at all over here.
Yeah. We wanted to be different. That's why we came over here. There was a lot going on this week. Hagrid has been run out of Hogwarts, and McGonagall has been taken out of action. Not to mention the kids are sitting on their exams. Josh, finally, the dream takes us somewhere. Straight to the torture of my favorite character. Poor Sirius. It looks like he is in need of saving. But of course, Dumbledore stands in the way of this, along with her stupid Slytherin squad. I really enjoy these chapters and the ones that are to follow as we get to the meat of the story. I don't have a lot to say this week. I think the chapters speak for themselves, but I'm excited to hear what Josh has to say about these chapters, as well as his theories about what's going to happen next. Where's Hermione leading Dumbledore and Harry? What's going to happen to Sirius Black? How do you think Voldemort caught Sirius? How is Harry going to rescue him? Because when has Harry just sat back and done nothing? Like, really, tell me Sirius is okay. I'm worried about him.
Mel B, you already know the answer to that, but I appreciate where you're going with it.
And finally, the email I haven't had time to read through.
Uh-oh. The wild card.
Atari Alex.
Hi, Alex.
Dear Josh and Matt, as I mentioned last week, I've been playing a stupid amount of Pokemon Go recently. Whilst walking around campus hatching eggs, I was reminded of the supposed Harry Potter Go idea that was floated around a while back, and what a ridiculous idea that would be. Or is it genius? What do you guys think?
Color me intrigued.
So I can't say that I ever heard anything about this. Did you hear anything about this?
I vaguely, maybe.
Like I understand Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to figure out what Harry Potter Go would actually be.
All the fantastic beasts and magical creatures in the world.
Okay.
Same thing, but...
Yeah, I could see that. I just don't think there's enough of them.
Though. No. I mean, it wouldn't be as big and grand as Pokemon Go, but I mean, you could still do something with it. It might not have the legs like Pokemon Go to go on for, as long as it is, but who knows?
Yeah.
And we don't even know what's going to be introduced in the next Fantastic Beast, what new animals and creatures.
I suppose you could say that. Yeah. It'd be interesting. I wasn't sure if it was gonna if it was strictly like capturing stuff, or if you go around like battling people in wand duels,
maybe
or
both.
Something like that. Yeah. Anyway, let's get one thing straight from last week's show. I like Home Alone 3.
Whoa.
A lot.
Oh, Alex. Alex.
I might even go so far as
don't
to say
it. No.
that it's my favorite in the series.
Block
fair,
all of Alex's emails going forward.
I want to see where he's going with this because I have no idea how he got to that point. To be fair, I haven't seen it in several years, so going back with an older, more cynical perspective may prove to me that it's actually a terrible movie, which happened to me with Polar Express a few years ago. That was a sad day. But until then, I will defend it as a worthy successor to the franchise. Home Alone 4 is garbage, though.
There's a fourth? There's a fourth?
Oh... We will have to do some quick research here. Home Alone 4. It was a straight to TV movie in 2002.
Oh, not even a straight to DVD or straight to Netflix.
No, it is a TV movie in 2002.
Alex.
Starring French Stewart.
Oh, enough. Wait, I think he was in the third one too.
Was he in the third one? I honestly don't think I've seen the third one.
No, never mind. He was not in the third one.
Okay.
I mean, it feels like he could have been, but he was not.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, okay. Let's see. Home Alone 3 was in 1997. Okay, that even that was earlier than I thought it was. But I'm kind of wondering if just the age gap between us and Alex was enough that...
No, I don't give him that pass. No. Home Alone 3 was not a good movie. And it was definitely not better than the first two.
I mean, come on. Home Alone 1 and 2
classics.
Had music by John Williams, too.
Yeah.
Harry Potter connection.
Classics. I watch them every year for Christmas time.
Every year.
Nobody's sitting there thinking, I want to watch Home Alone 3 because it's Christmas time right now.
Some TV networks is like, we're going to show Home Alone 3 because it's dirt cheap. But that's the only reason people ever watch it. Anyway, now for some actual Harry Potter stuff. Found these chapters particularly poignant for me as I have midterms this week. Funny how life lines up like that. And while the stress of exams is creeping over me, Harry and friends taking their exams reminded me more than anything of taking the AP exams back in high school. Everyone in the gym, that one person whose phone went off during the test, leaving the gym and going over all the questions with your friends, even though you're not supposed to. Those were simpler times. J.K. Rowling practically shoved these memories down my throat by going into excruciating detail about studying and test-taking. I think she may have gone a bit overboard with the details in this book. Almost Tolkien-esque, though more enjoyable, which resulted in the 800-page behemoth we got. It's so strange that they included all the testing scenes in the movie, but not Fred and George's escape from Hogwarts. Fast-forwarding a bit, Hagrid goes beast mode. McGonagall gets hurt. There's some drama with the Niffler, and there's 2 callbacks to earlier jokes from the book. Mice on Saturn and Stubby Boardman, which I appreciated, but I felt they probably got overlooked a lot. And Harry has a bad dream, which leads him to do probably the dumbest thing he's done yet. Seriously, Harry... I'm going to go with agitates me so much. I guess I hadn't realized how long it had been since the last time read through the whole series. But being older and much more mature individual I am now, Harry as a character mostly just makes me either annoyed or angry. As of this book at least, I think he might be in contention for worst protagonist of any story ever. Like I said last week, Fred and George are the real heroes of this story. Harry needs a timeout.
A timeout? That's what he needs?
That according to Alex, Harry needs a timeout.
Boy. Yeah, I mean, he did something stupid, yes, we could all agree on that, but he was ready to just go run to the Ministry of Magic right then and there. So in the grand scheme of like stupid things that he could have done, I feel like he went the better route of stupidness. Does that make sense? Matt?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, Alex, Home Alone 3 is a bad movie.
Yes.
Is that it, Matt?
That is indeed.
It's been a show, man.
Yes.
Thank you so much, as always, for a wonderful episode. Next week, we're going to have another giveaway, as we always do. What are we going to be giving away next week, Matt?
This week, we have something very special. Something, once again, I hope nobody had. Well, actually, no, I hope somebody does have this. It's a cool little thing, I think. It's something that was recommended to me by one of our listeners. If I recall, it was Brent. If
Sounds
I'm
like
wrong about
Brent
that, please correct me. But I want to give credit to whoever did bring this up. So
sure,
it's something I had seen before, but it wasn't it was well before we started doing this show, so I hadn't thought about it again. So it's this handmade Harry Potter music box.
It looks awesome.
Yeah. I will warn you now, if you see it in some pictures, it may be deceptive on just how big it is.
Okay.
It is actually quite tiny.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want anyone to be disappointed.
Sure.
But it functions very well. It is very intricate. I think it looks great. I would gladly keep it at my house if you don't want it.
Yeah.
But
what song does it play, Matt?
It plays Hedwig's theme.
That's right. It's a music box. It has to play music, so
Yes.
There we go. We're going to give it away to a lucky winner next week. Matt, how are we going to do that, you ask?
I do ask.
Simple. I'm going to have everybody write in talesfromgodric's@gmail.com. And I want you guys out there to tell us, in honor of this week's chapters, which are pretty horrible, what's the worst dream you ever had?
Ooh.
Yeah, I know it's dangerous territory, if you want to change the names of people or places to protect the innocent, go for it. If you've had some just terrible, awful dreams that you don't want to, reconjure up, I totally get that. I'm not trying to make this super dark and serious, but, we've all had some bad dreams. I'm sure we've all had some bad dreams that we remember, very vividly. I will share a bad dream with you that I had many times as a kid. It was a reoccurring dream. One of those reoccurring bad dreams.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I will definitely tell you my story next week. So don't think I'm just asking you guys to out yourselves and us not participate in it.
Sure.
Just write about, the worst dream that you have had, that you could remember, that you want to talk about, Don't go super dark and emotional. But, do what you want to do. You could be as detailed or as brief as you want it to be.
And I'll just throw this out there because I have no idea where people are going to go with this. You've all been good so far with your emails, but keep it family friendly.
Yes.
Yeah. I like to think I don't have to make that announcement, but just in case.
Sure. I mean, granted, we are, whoever wins, you will know ahead of time, and we don't, if we choose not to read it, that's a thing. But, everybody's going to be good. I have no doubt in anybody out there. But, yeah. So write in, and we'll pick a winner at random for that awesome music box. So,
yeah.
And if you win it, then it can play you a lullaby as you go to sleep and never have bad dreams again.
Perfect.
See how this works out?
Yes.
So next week, 3 chapters.
Yes, 3 chapters. 33, 34, 35.
Whew, boy, it's going to be something. Your 3 chapters worry me, so we'll see.
Oh. Do I just need to go straight 2 chapters through the entire book
No,
next
because
time?
you have a reason for doing so. In
Okay.
Matt, I trust. I don't like, but I trust the process.
Okay.
Okay?
Fair enough.
So that'll be next week, episode 67, Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, chapters 33 through 35. But this has been a great show. Thank you to everybody that participated and emailed and wrote in and had fun with us throughout the week, as always. You can find me personally on Twitter at The Noise with a Y. Follow the show on Twitter at Tales from GH. You can follow us on Instagram, Tales from Godric's Hollow. You can follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/Tales from Godric's Hollow. If you go over to the website, it has the shop, it has the show notes, it has everything you need in a one-stop convenient place for all such things, talesfromgodricshollow.com. And if you'd like to support us, like so many of you amazing people have so far, including our 2 wonderful headmistresses, you could do so over on Patreon, patreon.com/Tales from Godric's Hollow. Matt, where can the people reach out to you?
You can always find me personally on Twitter at As a Matter of Matt. Otherwise, for all things email related, whether it's your weekly email, your giveaway entries, spoilers, anything you want to talk about, hopefully Harry Potter related, but it doesn't have to be, I guess. You can get a hold of me at talesfromgodricshollow@gmail.com.
Just don't email in to say how good Home Alone 3 is. That will get you cut off.
Yeah.
Alex has a warning. Next time, suspension. And we'll go from there. No, thank you to everybody for everything. In the wake of everything, this has been enjoyable to spend a few hours talking about Harry Potter, even though I absolutely despised these chapters and how they ended. It was good. So everybody be safe out there. And until next week, Muggle out.
Mischief managed.